wanted to ask you, Brad, about your Bradford Speaks.
Bradford Usher Speaks.
Yeah.
Yeah, my wife encouraged me to do that. It wasn't my idea. She really encouraged me to do that. So, yeah.
What time we start? 8:34. Ooh.
Hello, Facebook. We are live. This is the Gray Area, and this is your boy Ray E.
This is your boy P. Wills. What's happening?
And this is your girl, Eb.
Yeah, I noticed Ebony's sitting in another spot today.
Yes. Yes, I am.
She wanted to be even more special. It's all right. We got a special guest for y'all today. My man Brad Usher's in the building. How you doing, man?
I'm good. How y'all doing?
What's up, Big Bad Brad? What's happening? Big Bad Brad in the building.
Yeah.
Dang, Pat, you got the heat on.
It's a little hot in here, man.
Hey, listen,
I
man.
meant to tell you that earlier.
Shout out to Brad's wife. Okay,
goodness.
she walked in and gave me this look like, look, it's cold in here, so look, I'll turn it up, man.
She probably hot
Turn
too.
it up. Turn it up there.
It ain't no It's like 72. You be all right, Ray?
You anemic, ain't you?
Nah, man.
You got your hoodie, and you got your hoodie on and
Anemic.
everything. I don't know how you.
Nah, I don't say that.
He didn't take his iron pills
that's
today?
for fashion.
Is that what it is? You didn't take
Man,
your
it's
iron
hot.
fast?
No, I sweat.
I'm a G.
We gonna be here sweating in a minute. You know, black folk already sweating just sitting down.
Hey,
Right.
Brad, man, let me ask you though, man, really quick, bro. So, this is like a freelance type of show. We're gonna talk about several different things, man. Shout out to Richard, man. Why you think he didn't show up, man? I'll put you on the spot, man.
Trying to start trouble. No, I'm gonna be I don't know, man. I don't know why he showed up. I'm not. Y'all gotta ask Richard. Man.
Yeah,
man. I'm not go. That's my guy, though. You know what I'm saying? We go way back.
But why are people so obsessed with the Earth being flat? At the end of the day, like, what is the overarching resolute? Like, I don't get it.
Let's go, Brad. Let's go.
I've done my homework on it. So I'm not like before. I used to be very dismissive to flat earthers. I used to go in on them like real hard. I call them flat brainers. I still do.
I didn't even know this was a conversation.
Oh,
I didn't know
man.
people were even having this conversation.
Yeah.
It's been big, man. Like big.
Wow.
I mean, I seen the dude go off, and all his facts was incorrect.
Oh yeah.
Just based on the yelling and the screaming.
Is that the video?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nah, man, but I remember look, Brad and Richard, for those who don't know, they've been going at it on Facebook, man, for like a year and a half about flat Earth.
Like the Earth is flat or round.
Like Brad is pro round Earth, Richard is pro flat Earth.
I say spherical.
Okay, sorry, spherical.
Oh.
They be like, well, Earth is not a basketball. I'm like, okay, it's not a basketball.
They said if the Earth is round, then the water will fall off.
Yeah, they said the water will
Why?
fall off.
This is almost the conversation. Is water wet and is fire hot? It's been going around forever. It's like,
Have you heard that one?
what?
Yeah, I heard that.
Man, these dudes argue against
Yes.
like
It's
is water wet?
debate. Yes, it's a serious debate.
A
that
serious
one I don't
debate.
touch.
Like, what
I
is
don't
that?
touch
What?
Is water wet? Are you serious?
It's a serious conversation.
It depends on if you're in it or not.
My thing is, what can you do if it was flat? What could you do about it? If the Earth is flat, what can you do? Like what? I mean, at the end, what's the end result?
Yeah, like
That's what
why
What can
is
you
it so
do?
important? Yeah.
I've asked that question myself.
Or if it's round, like what? I mean, are we gonna move? What are we doing?
Hey, Nahum said the Earth is flat. We live on a vegetable pizza.
That's the truth, though.
Well, they claim that because now flat earthers claim that since they made this discovery, that now everything has basically everything we've been taught about math and science and all that has been a lie.
Oh, so we feel disappointed because
So we basically been taught a lie. So
I got a whole bunch of other lies that I want to address before I address is Earth flat? You know what I'm saying? Well, I'm just saying, like, I mean, they lied to me in what class would that be? What class is that?
See, they don't even have that debate in school.
Don't judge me. But what class would be teaching? What is that? Science?
Yeah. But see, they
Who's really?
To me, it's like they say. To me, it's like saying 2 + 2 is not 4.
Mm-hmm.
You know, or not
But
but
at the same rate, you're gonna count your money the same at the end of the day, right?
Yeah.
Even if 2 + 2 is 5, you still gonna count it. It's still gonna be the same. Your check's not gonna change.
But according to them, they reality, as we know, it has changed. You know, because they say that
little world,
like you asked them about the sunrise and the sunset. Apparently, according to flat earthers, they believe that when you see the sun rising, and it appears that it's rising, but what's really happening is that it's moving in close.
Okay.
Like so, it's moving in close, and that's why but it just appears with our vision or whatever that it appears it's rising up, but it's really just going close. And then when the sun sets, that means it's moving further away out of sight. So I asked, how come
Here we go.
the way our eyes work, things that move further away from out of your field of vision get smaller. So I asked, well, how come the size of the sun doesn't get smaller? I still haven't really gotten that question. I get a meme, but I don't get
a meme.
You get a meme. That's how you say it. I'm saying I get a meme.
Meme.
I get a meme. My bad. I get a meme, right? As my answer, but I'm like, no, this is basic observation. You go outside and watch the sunset. I don't see. Sometimes actually the sun looks big when it's set. You know, but they claim that the sun is getting smaller. Like if you're in a narrow hallway, and there's 2 of y'all standing there. Let's say Patrick, you and Ray standing there in this hallway.
Yeah, he'll be getting punched while I'm standing there.
So you have a flashlight or a candle, we'll say, a light or whatever. So you begin to walk down that hallway. And Ray is standing there and just watch you. So pretend that's like the sun.
Okay.
Setting. So the further you go all the way down, then eventually it just gets smaller, and it gets dark, and you no longer can see that light. So that's the same thing with the sun when it sets. It's just going further away from us, just like the moon. When the moon comes up, the moon is going closer and then goes further away from us. But like I said, the size doesn't change. Now some mornings the sun looks big, but also in the evening the sun looks big too sometimes.
But isn't that due to the seasons?
I think, but I believe
I mean, but the moon moves everywhere. Like, so I mean, if the earth was flat, then the moon wouldn't move, right? It would like be.
Well, the moon and the sun orbits.
Right.
That's what they say.
Yeah.
So are they saying that it's still we still orbit, or we move?
We don't move. We're stationary.
Oh, it moves around us.
So it moves around us like a clock almost.
Okay.
But it still would be the same thing. Wouldn't it be the same thing though?
Somebody said, how can Alaska stay dark for months at a time?
Hey, good
That's
question.
a good question.
That's a good ask that question too, but I'm still waiting on that.
Robert
answer.
said my brain hurts.
Shout out to Robert Brown, man. What's up, Rob?
Yes.
I still, just for the record, y'all, I'm not a flat earther, you know. So I know some people mistake that for me because I ask these questions. They be like, "Well, are you a flat earther?" I'm like, nah, I'm kind of trolling the flat earthers a little bit, but my questions be serious though, like, because this is things that I observe, you know. And the biggest thing that I've still waiting on this answer was I actually went live. I don't know if y'all saw that.
I probably did see it. I probably did see
I think it
it.
was last year. So I'm standing
on your back.
Oh,
yeah,
that video.
The sunset.
He was hot too. Hey, Brown was video hot. Now, can y'all explain this to me?
I gotta know because, well, check this out. I did it in February.
He was hot, man.
What did he say?
Well,
Can y'all explain this to me?
So I was sitting in the back. It was like, this is what I was doing. I was standing in the kitchen one day, and I was just watching the sun. I was just watching. I wasn't thinking. And then something I said, wait a minute. I just noticed something. I said, I noticed we in the winter months, and the way my house is, like, the sun sets. Like in the winter months, I noticed the sun was setting on what I say the southwest side of my house in the back. And then I noticed in the summertime, the sun is setting east, like almost northeast of my house. So I said, wait a minute. I said, this is strange. So I went live and made a video about that. Asked my question. I said, so I come back in a few months when it's warm, like in June, and I make another video to show y'all where the sun is now setting. So of course I did that. And I asked all the flat earthers, you know, this is my question. Here we are in June. Look where the sun is now in June. They claim the sun orbits the earth 24 hours, like within a day or whatever. So I'm like, well, why is this? How is it? Shouldn't the sun set almost in the same position then? Shouldn't rise and set in the same position? So he answered it about the answer I got was something about the horizon, but that didn't answer. That had nothing to do with the horizon. I just wanted to know if the sun orbits, then why is it that it changes? It takes almost 6 months to change position from where it's rising and setting to, you know, same thing with the constellation. You know, I asked. I'll leave him out of it, but I asked him. I asked him, you know, well, do we see the same constellations all year round? And I believe he said, yeah. I don't know if he answered it or not, but from what I noticed is that again, wintertime, like right now, you see the constellations like Orion and Taurus, but as the summer, now we get in spring. When the summer comes, you're not going to see those constellations. We're going to see a whole new set of constellations. Right. So, my question is, if the Earth is flat and the sky is moving, shouldn't we see the same constellations all year round?
Right. Yeah, that makes sense.
But we don't. You know what I'm saying? So,
how does space move? Like my whole thing is, it's a whole different perspective, and I'm with you. I'm not discounting some of the things. Some of the things. Like, I sincerely believe that there are powers that be that may have manipulated some things in regards to space.
I think there's a lot of things they're not telling us
believe,
is going on.
Yeah, you know. Like,
I don't know about flat Earth,
that
though.
the Earth is flat.
Yeah.
I mean, but like my question is though, like, how do you measure the distance from the Earth to the Sun? You know, though they say like from the Earth to the Sun is 93 million miles away. I mean, who came up with those calculations?
Well, Illuminati.
Here we go. Here we go.
Freemasonic.
Freemason.
That's what they say. You know, Freemasonic came up with that theory, the heliocentric theory, is that we've been taught has been wrong, according to the flat earthers. And, this is where they really lose me, though. This is where I'm like, I call it BS, is when they say, so I'm like, well, what's the reason behind the heliocentric model? They say it's used to hide God.
Okay.
So,
you got my attention.
Yeah. I mean, but why?
So, I done a little digging. So I said, all right, well, what is the basis of flat Earth? Where did it come from? And it's basically based on biblical cosmology. So that's where it I guess, originated from. I guess I say the Greeks, because if you look up the Hellenistic period, it's all dealing with the Greeks. So the Greeks believed that the Earth was a flat disk, motionless, didn't move, that the heavens was above and below is hell. But when you had certain Greek philosophers that I guess traveled into Africa, particularly Egypt, is when they learned all this other information about science and things that they had no idea about.
Right.
So that's why if you do your homework, you'll notice that really all your Greek philosophy learns from us.
They sure did.
Africans. So if we taught them about math, science, cosmology, they had their own interpretation using the Bible, but then they come to this land over here and they see these pyramids and all this like just technology that they had no clue existed. You know, it makes me question, well, it didn't come from our ancestors. It, you know, came from so-called white man, as they call it, you know, because they believed that the earth was flat. You know, so if they had no knowledge of, you know, even the number 0, how could they come up with this? How could they be right? But when they come and those philosophers learn from the Egyptians, then they use their own calculations and they say, oh, well, guess what? The earth is actually round. The earth is a sphere, you know, and over the time, that's how they developed the heliocentric model that we use today. But all helios just means the sun. So heliocentric model, it just means that we believe that the sun revolves, it's the center of the universe, everything revolves around the sun. While the Hellenistic model, they believe that the earth is the center, and there are no planets, and there's not even space. That's just water.
That's, you know what, man, that's a question that I have, because this is where, like, I was lost. I mean, through all the memes and, you know, posts back and forth, when I saw someone's response was that we are living in a dome, and that on the top of the dome or inside of, you know, of that dome is water.
Yeah.
So there's like no water, like the water is actually above us.
Right.
That lost me.
Yeah.
Because
That's weird.
Yeah, I mean, how, like, what? So are they saying that the oceans are, you know, above us, or
The sky is the water. What you see.
so how do you explain like going to the beach then?
The sky is water. Like we got water on the land, and the sky that you look at is water.
on the land and then sky.
Which makes sense,
So,
because there's water up there.
yeah, but I mean, how do you explain the clouds?
Well, there's water in the clouds.
True.
That's
The
how it
clouds
get
in the
rain.
middle, and the water is further up. I don't know.
Okay, so if they're hiding, okay, so
What
if
a flat
they're,
earther.
Ebony, don't think too much on
I'm
that.
trying.
yeah,
Trying hard. I
man,
mean,
can someone please like tag some flat earthers, man? Because we got some
Trying
questions.
to.
Like, okay, so if they claim that the Illuminati changed, you know, everything to high God, is God inside of a dome? If that's heaven, or is he outside of it?
I believe he must be outside of it. You know, well, you know, I made that joke one time. I said, well, it seems like the only person that made it out of the firmament was Jesus did. If nobody's ever been to space. So I'm like, I guess Jesus is the only one that made it out of the firmament.
So how can you hide God if God's not inside of the dome? If he's outside of the dome, see, yeah, I'm.
so they're saying, is it just not technical as far as them saying hiding God, or is this more allegorical?
Nah, they believe it's really been like we've been taught. The science that we've been taught is used to hide God. That's verbatim.
Well, I mean, I can see how that could be
I
true.
think that the Vatican
I can see
knows
how.
a lot more than they say.
I mean, I can see how. I wouldn't say
Yeah.
to hide God, but I can see how.
I can see how they can.
How science.
Yeah.
People use science, and scientists use science to prove things that are spiritual, or to disprove things that are spiritual. So I can see that, and that's just not even flat Earth. That's just
Yeah, I think that's
people that just
I think
believe
that's why
science
they
over
believe
spirituality.
because it comes down to that science versus religion, which
Right,
has been
right.
going on for
Right.
thousands of years.
Right,
you know?
right.
So when you break down, I think when they came up with this, I guess you call it heliocentric model. I believe it
Let me
was
Google that. Heliocentric.
heliocentric.
Yeah, look.
Man, Nate is
I
wild.
believe it was really to
Nate, do you believe the Earth is
just
flat?
breaking it down in a scientific way. You know what
Okay,
I'm saying?
heliocentric is having or
yeah.
representing the sun as the center, as in the accepted astronomical model of the solar system.
So Robert Brown said, look up the helical model on YouTube. I'm sorry, helical, is it? Helical.
Is he saying that right?
The helical?
Yeah, helical model. See, man, yeah, see, I was lost, man. You know, when they said the water is in the sky.
Yeah, so you know.
So what if something happened and the water just fell? I mean, how much water is up there?
It falls every day.
Well, you
No,
know,
I'm talking about if it all fell at
what
one
about
time.
the ice wall? You know, we're surrounded by Antarctica is actually not a continent, but a wall of ice. That we're
Oh, so
surrounded
flat
by.
earthers.
So we're surrounded by a wall of ice.
Okay.
Like a 200-foot wall or whatever. And so I'm like, well, if the glaciers are melting,
Yeah, global warming. So how do you?
What's
So you saying that's what's keeping the water in?
Yeah, so I guess flat earthers are saying that Antarctica
Yeah.
is actually above us, right?
no. It's
Okay.
like you have,
It's a wall around.
but
us.
it's a wall. You know that look. You ain't seen the
Oh,
model?
yeah.
Ice wall that's
Yeah,
surrounded.
Let
So
me look at the flat Earth model.
Yeah, hey, pull it up,
I'm
man.
gonna share that with the viewers. As soon as I
helical
find
model?
it.
Pull it up, Ray.
Let's put
It's
I like that model.
HELICAL. Helical model solar system.
Shout out to Ray E for trying to find the helical model solar
Put in
system.
a helical model solar
hold
system.
on.
Yeah.
So what if that ice just melts like overnight?
That's what I said.
It just
We
popped up.
gonna drown. You know what I'm saying? Like, for real. We
Go
gonna drown.
to images.
Okay.
Yeah.
But how do you explain when some flat
Yeah, scroll
earthers
down.
Is this the Helica model?
Yeah.
Where the Earth is
That's
speeding
that's
through?
like the latest what they say.
Well,
it
they
is,
said
that
the sun is moving.
The
and
sun
we're
is
moving around
traveling,
it.
and the sun pulls the planets with them.
Scroll
But-
down.
Wait, is this a flat earther?
No, this is what
Oh, okay.
they say is used today. Flat earthers
'Cause there was a
apparently
picture
have
that
debunked
the
this.
sun in
They
the
don't
middle of
believe in
everything.
what
That's
you call it, helical.
Yeah.
Am I saying that right?
helical, whatever.
Yeah, they don't believe in that model. They laugh. If what's the name was on here now, he'd laugh at us.
There's another one.
let me-
Richard, please tune in, man, and like comment.
Let me
man, or
share
something.
this with the viewers because I want them to see these models that we're looking at.
I was looking for this. Scroll down to
Hey,
this
pull
one
it
right
up.
there.
This might be
Hey,
a
pull it up.
long
Right.
link.
You know
That
what?
one looks
I would say
about
Uh,
pull it up.
easier to understand.
Hey,
Helica model, our solars.
hey,
I just scrolled down. I looked up the same thing you looked up.
we can
Just
pull it
scroll
up
down.
here.
Okay.
Yeah, we can pull it up there.
Oh, okay.
But
This is a long link. Let me know if y'all can click on these links. I don't know if you can click on links
There
in
it
the
is.
comment section.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know if like they can click on in the on the phone.
man, but here's another question. But how do you, or how do you debate with flat earthers that use biblical scripture to prove that the earth is flat?
Well, my thing is, I say to them, I mean, they'll post the meme, whatever.
Mem.
Forgive me,
We'll
y'all.
call mem.
I butcher words around here. But they have memes for that. You know, it's like what 200 scriptures apparently that's supposed to say that. I've read some of them, and to me, that's just not what
Crystal
I
said
interpret.
you can't click on the link.
Doggone.
links.
All right. See if you can copy it and paste it in your browser on your phone.
What in the world?
Spare time, I guess.
Put water on
If
it.
you would have
Put
seen
water on
his face though,
I know that. Like, look, listen, look. That's Ray's way of saying, look.
Damn it, Facebook.
just Google it.
I ain't about to do that. Shoot, I ain't about to keep doing that. Do it yourself.
Oh my gosh.
Use the water.
They
Put some water on it.
Yeah, put some water on it.
That's
They
like
claim that the Bible says it, but I don't. That's not what I interpret.
Robert Brown
When they
said the
even show
book
me
is
the
not
scriptures.
the Bible is not a book of science.
Sure it's not.
No, it's not that.
That's interesting
So what is
though.
the-
If you
what
want to
is-
prove something, let me
what
put
is
some
the Bible?
scripture on.
Let's talk about
They
that.
call it
And,
basically.
and how does the Bible
Here we go.
have so many
Oh,
things,
man.
so many lines in it that
Don't line up.
no,
Oh, I'm sorry.
I wouldn't
What
say-
are you gonna say?
I wouldn't say don't line up. There's a lot of things that relate to people's lives today that kind of happen over and over again, and there's a lot of lines in the Bibles that relate to that. So,
yeah. And
so
the Quran and all other kind of biblical words.
where is the Bible on the
Text.
scale of reality and human
Number one.
human beings?
Numero uno.
What do you mean by reality?
Yeah.
Numero
Because
uno.
there are some people that don't believe in it at
The
all,
market
and then
says,
there's
"Here
people
we
who
go."
believe in it wholeheartedly, sometimes
No, no.
overly, to the point where they use it to justify
Numero
everything.
uno.
So where are humans on this scale of where should they be on this scale of the Bible?
Book of
Well,
Eli,
I think
baby.
it just
There
depends
he is.
on what you're
There he is.
Richard, what's up, Rich? I'm sorry. Rich is in the building. Let's go.
Hold on,
Let's go, Rich.
he's secretly watching. He can make himself known now.
Yes, he is.
No, it says Richard is watching. It didn't say what's up, hey, how y'all doing, what's up, Pat.
Hey,
Richard didn't
hey,
say
shout us
hi,
out,
hello.
Richard. Shout us out, Richard.
Don't be creepy.
Hey, look. D Ham said Richard is here. Switch back to flat Earth.
Oh man.
We need to go back to
Oh,
flat
there
Earth.
he is.
Hey,
What up,
all right,
Richard?
all right, Richard.
Okay,
We go-
flat
here
Earth
we
versus
go.
round
We got-
Earth.
We got a question.
Where's the
man.
popcorn at, man?
Hopefully,
That's what's the popcorn.
what was the question that we asked? And I was like,
Oh,
you should be able to answer that.
No, the water.
Well,
Oh, yeah,
Ray had
yeah,
asked
Richard.
about the Bible.
Let
We're
me
gonna
ask
go back to that
you. Let
question.
me ask you, Richard. As far as the Bible proving that the Earth is flat, can you give the viewers some scriptures that pertain
there's
to
some
the
script-
Earth being flat?
There's some scriptures out there that pertain to that.
Yeah, Richard.
You can find some. You can
I
find a
don't know.
scripture that
Let's
pertains
go grab
to
the Bible
anything
quick, bruh.
if you're looking for it.
Go grab the Bible.
He said, "Let me go get the proof."
Patrick is going to get popcorn.
Well, Wait, DeMarcus said I just made a sandwich.
Get your popcorn ready.
Right.
Because I mean, the interesting part about the flat Earth is every time I'll do some research on it, it's a lot of the justifications for it is being debunked. You know, and they make more sense. Yeah. You know, so for me, I'm going over more sense rather than something that's maybe a theory.
Make sure y'all turn to Psalms 83.
He got a Bible for everybody. Dang.
I'll just use yours. You can use that one.
Stupid.
Lord.
Turn to
But
First Chronicles. 2 and
This is
5.
interesting.
yeah.
The Bible has.
Turn to your neighbor.
But you know what?
Symbolism, prophecy,
How old is
and
this
history.
Bible? How old is this Bible?
The Bible, period.
Do you
No,
mean
this
literally?
No, not this Bible that you just handed.
That one, I don't know.
That's 4,000 years old.
That's a good question.
That's a good question because you know.
Now, I have my
that one's
1611 one
4,000
in
years
there.
old.
Does it talk about a firmament in that one?
You know what? Here, let me look. Hold on.
Yeah.
You know what? Good point, Brett. Hold
What
on.
did you say?
Does it talk about the firmament?
The firmament.
The
Explain
firmament.
what that
The
is.
firmament is a glass firmament. Whatever. It's a
The firmament?
The firmament. I'm sorry. I told you I butchered words. My wife is gonna kill me. The firmament. Are you sure that's how y'all say
Here we
it?
go. She said, sorry, I couldn't be there, fam. Okay.
But you know, the
It's all
firmament
good,
is
Richard, man.
the glass.
You're here now.
The dome that we live in.
Okay.
It's invisible. It's an invisible. If I'm explaining this wrong, Richard, fact check me on that. But it's a glass dome that we live in that's invisible. You can't see it.
We'll talk to the mic, Brett.
But
Yeah. Let's turn it.
they claim that that's what we live inside of. So what are you saying?
He said there's a verse where it says the earth is like a seal pressed in clay.
Look it
Like
up.
a seal pressed in clay.
Pressed in clay. So what? A seal.
A seal.
Find that scripture, Richard.
I can't even see that.
Google it.
I can't even imagine that.
Google's a new Bible.
DM said, ask the one question.
Huh? Rita?
I don't know if you can explain that.
Let's
Hey, the
see.
Marcus is, hey man, he's hilarious, man.
Marcus is sick.
You know.
But yeah,
He
that's
said, what does it say, Preston, what?
Seal pressed in clay.
Preston clay. It said seal Preston.
Yeah, what does that mean?
Preston
A
clay.
seal.
Yeah, I'm trying
So
to
this
think.
firmament, is this supposed to be like a globe? Like a glass
Yeah.
globe or something?
So-
Yeah, it's like the firmament is round.
So we're flat, and then
Yeah,
there's
we're
a
flat.
dome.
Yeah, there's a dome that go like an igloo. Think of an igloo.
And
Like
what is the
that's
globe made
Kind
of?
of like that.
What is it
What
made
they're
of?
saying is made of like,
Okay, here it is.
There's water and ice. Isn't
Here
there
it
something?
is. It's
Yeah.
Job 38:14.
Okay, let's go. Job 38.
Turn to Job 38.
Put some pastor
Turn
on
to
that
your
shit.
neighbor. Turn to your neighbor and say flat earth.
Flat Earth. Or
Hold up.
touch your neighbor and say,
Round earth. Oh God.
spherical Earth.
Hold on. It says,
Man,
we going to hell. Hey, what are you? Pun. I got you. We're going under. Did you catch that? The earth takes shape like clay under a seal. Its features stand out like those of a garment. That's New Living. Let me go to the King James version. The
yeah.
original.
Did you have the Bible? Oh.
But that doesn't. But I mean, it doesn't say anything though.
Hey,
Hold
hey, what's
on.
the verse again?
38:14. But
Hold on, sis.
as the
I
light
mean, you-
approaches,
I mean,
the
you-
earth takes shape like clay
reading
pressed
Bible and
beneath.
Come on, teacher.
Now this
Hold
is the
up.
1611.
Job
Yeah.
16:11.
Yeah.
What does it say?
It is turned as clay to the seal, and
Oh,
they
and they
stand as a
stand.
garment.
Okay, that's Job 38:14.
So what does that mean?
Richard, what does that mean, brother? Because I have no clue what that means.
I'm lost.
And I'll read it
And
again.
they said we're in God's snow globe.
It
Well,
is-
I guess, and then
Nate, be
also
quiet,
it says,
Nate.
Or are we one of them?
and then
That
also,
would be funny.
and then also it says, I think it's in. Now I didn't click on the link. It says, oh shoot,
Hey,
it
can you
says
just-
about holding the ends of the earth, which also is in Revelations.
How can you hold the ends of the earth if the earth is round?
Well, that's the thing. If it's flat,
No,
if I'm a
this
flat
is a
earther,
flat earther.
then
Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
that would
yeah,
make
no.
some sense. Okay, I got
Okay.
some biblical context to back up what I'm saying.
And then there's one that says like the four corners of the
the
earth.
four corners of the earth.
So flat earthers would say.
Wait,
if the
hold
earth is
on. That would
round-
make it a square, though. See?
Well, I mean, if you have a rectangle, just corner still.
Or a rectangle.
Yeah.
But that debunks the fact that
What
it's
is
flat
the edge?
or rounded.
There is no edge. Well,
Wait.
you know, there's two models.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
There's the one that they've been used, which I've crushed that model. That model's
This is
debunked.
not the truth.
I'm
Let me
telling
look
them now,
up
y'all need to come with
biblical
a new model.
verses on
But
flat.
then there's the other one, which is an
Yeah,
infinite
Google
plane.
that.
Yeah.
We live
Infinite
on
plane.
Yeah, we live on an infinite plane. And the
So
other
this is the Truman Show.
Yeah, so
So why are there mountains?
flat earthers got two theories though. They got the one that we were just talking about
Uh-huh.
with the firmament, and then they have the infinite plane. And then there are other. So I've even heard some cats from the conscious community talk about the infinite, like they believe that too. There's a couple. Yeah, Phil Valentine, you heard him?
Yeah.
He believes that now.
So on an infinite
Shot.
plane, is there land that has not been
Oh, here's one.
yet?
Yeah,
Tell me-
like outside the walls, supposedly there's other continents and stuff.
That don't help.
I'm with you,
This don't
Richard.
help.
Richard says that the animation at the end of Men in Black, where the cat had the snow globe on his.
That proves.
So are we?
No, not that. He's. I think he's referring to that ball, like how like they show the Earth, and then like they show like
The galaxy is
yeah, the
inside
galaxy,
of it.
yeah,
Yeah.
and the ball,
yeah.
Yeah, but so I mean, so are we on a cat's neck somewhere?
Yeah, that's at the end of the movie.
I'm just asking.
Hold on. Oh, here's one.
Okay, tell me.
Joshua 10:13. And the sun stood.
That is.
Okay, let me get
Sun
myself
stood
together. And the sun stood still, and the moon. The moon stopped too, until the next. Man, come on now, you gotta come better than this. And I'm gonna start from the beginning.
I know.
And the
because
sun
you read so fast that you didn't read it
stood-
already.
I know, right?
You said 3
And
words.
the sun stood still, and
Josh.
the moon stopped, until the nation took vengeance on their enemies. Is this not written in the book of Jashar? The sun stopped in the midst of heaven and did not hurry to set for about a whole day. Joshua 10:13. Now this actually came from a site called The Biblical Flat Earth, the teaching from Scripture. Did that clarify? That didn't clarify nothing for me.
Sound like some alternative facts.
Right.
Sound like some
That
alternative
I mean,
facts.
even when I read that, well, he has many. Oh wow.
Hey, Ray.
Oh, firmament. I found it.
You found it?
And God said, "Let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters."
That's
Still trying to figure this
The
out though.
water. Okay.
And God said, "Let there be light in the firmament of the heaven, and divide the day from the night. Let them be for signs and for seasons." Okay, still looking for flat earth stuff. Has thou with him spread out the sky,
Yeah.
which is strong,
It's because they use the word firmament.
the
It
heavens.
confirms that we live in a.
But it doesn't say flat though.
Okay, well, let's
Is
look
that-
up the
none of this-
definition of
Yeah,
firmament.
yeah. Please look
Because-
up
Oh,
firmament.
go ahead.
If
So
you
you
look
gotta
in the
look
dictionary,
up. Now look, since it's Old Testament, you want to look up Hebrew and go to Strong Concordance Hebrew,
Strong concordance.
because that'll give you the Hebrew definition of firmament.
Or I could read the 1611.
firmament, the
version.
heavens or the sky, especially when regarded as a tangible thing.
So, a sphere or world
sphere?
viewed by a
As-
collection of people, but
Collection of people.
that's
Oh, here's
That's-
the Bible version.
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. You want to look up the concordance because that's gonna give you the exact definition of firmament as it was written in Hebrew. Because that's where we get wrong with scripture, because we're using standard
Yeah.
English definitions, and we misinterpret instead of using whatever it was written in the book.
Like
So if
virgin
it's right,
in Hebrew meant young lady or
right. So if it's Old Testament is Hebrew, if it's New Testament is Greek. So you got to look it up from the Greek definition or the
Okay.
Hebrew.
Okay, well, here's a Hebrew version. The word means simply expansion.
There we go.
It
It
is.
See what I'm
denotes the
saying?
space or expanse like an arc appearing immediately above us.
Okay.
They who rendered rakia by firmamentum regarded it as a solid body.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
The language of Scripture is not scientific, but popular. And hence we read of the sun rising and setting, and also here for the use of this particular word.
Richard, brother.
I'm still.
Oh, there you go, Pat. It formed a division between the waters above the waters below. So I can.
So does that mean
upper reservoir.
does that mean that the plains is a division between the waters above and below?
Then that would make it sweet.
Yeah, I think so.
It might.
I think that's
No,
what
there's
what?
then that would, I guess that would make it flat. If they're saying that the waters are above and then here's the flat land and
then the
the
waters
on
are
surface.
below.
Yeah, that's what. That's
So
what
they go to that.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
So when it rains,
Broken
it's
down in
coming
the
from
Hebrew
the other side of the
context.
water.
Okay, so let's say the earth is flat, right? Okay, let's say
Is that what's happening?
hey, look, let's say if the earth is flat.
Right.
What's
need
the
a
person's-
table.
What does that do for
Where do we
me?
go from here? But how?
Uh,
I'm still working at
I've
the
asked
same
that
job.
question. I said, what?
Unless they can give me another job, it's gonna give me some more money.
Yeah. But they claim that
Great point, Robert.
change around because you've been lied to about everything.
Okay, okay.
You know, so now you question everything except the Bible.
Interesting.
That's what
Now
they say.
that's major right there.
That's what they tell me.
That's major. But I mean, if that makes you change your whole faith because the earth is not round, then
I
what?
mean,
Then
He left his
come on.
wife and kids and convert from Catholic to Baptist.
Well, they claim if you believe in the heliocentric model too,
Uh-huh.
then that means you don't believe in God, like you're atheist. I read a
Robert
comment.
said, please
But
go
it's
back
in
to
the
that.
Bible that it's flat though.
That's if
So
you don't
then-
believe that. If you believe that it is round.
Well, I'm sorry, it's not in the
right.
Bible. It could be
Right.
Believe
interpreted.
that, then it's.
Can you
it's-
pull that
You don't
video
believe in
up
God
where
Right, yeah.
the Atlantic Ocean and the Pacific Ocean meet?
because
Please.
the majority
that was
have
on,
been taught.
Can you
that-
explain this, man?
But
to
I
me?
don't even recall, and maybe the viewers can help me out. I don't
There it
recall
is. There it
even.
is.
I don't recall
Poor
it
dog.
being an.
Hold on, this is what Richard said.
Okay, he
He
said.
said, we live in an enclosed system.
Mm-hmm.
If we were to realize we're in an enclosed system, we would begin to ask the elites can rule over us. The system would fall.
Okay, we can do that now. I mean, I'm with you, Richard, but we can do that now. I mean, just find out who you are and what your purpose is.
I don't think
Mm-hmm.
discovering flat Earth would,
Yeah.
even if the whole population was discover and buy into flat Earth, say, okay, the Earth is flat. I don't think
Bullshit.
that's gonna cause the elites
Mm-hmm.
to stop or in their reign or whatever they're
It
doing.
is-
I believe it goes way deeper than just flat Earth.
Hey, Brad, I don't know if I've asked you this. I think
yeah,
I have.
remember I gave you the answer. I don't
What this
I
right
remember
here?
I took a picture, yeah, because I googled it.
Can you, okay, well, can you explain how the Pacific Ocean and the Atlantic Ocean meet and then there's, like, they don't merge
Yeah, it's something
at all? I mean, does that have something to do with spherical Earth?
I don't think it
flat
has
Earth?
nothing to do with
No,
either one.
it's scientific.
Some flat earthers have used that video to claim that this
Oh,
proves
yeah?
the Earth is flat. Yeah,
That is
But-
wild that the oceans
Yeah.
will not cross though. Like
That is unbelievable, man.
that is.
and that's specific and the.
They said it has something. Is this something?
Somebody used the Bible.
Yeah, man, the Bible and like how right, how it said like the salt won't mix,
Mm-hmm.
but still, I mean,
That is strange.
yeah, I mean, it's like a
a
line, a straight line that goes through it, man. Like
But as far as back to the firmament,
uh-huh.
I believe it is one, but it extends like the whole entire solar system is inside of that. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't believe it's just us inside of a glass, whatever
crazy,
you
is
want to
it?
call it. I believe though it is a firmament, but it extends all the way out, like into the universe, and all the planets, our entire solar system is inside of that. Now that's more, that makes more sense to me than saying that no one's ever been to space. There is no space.
Right. I do
That's
think
a
that
bit
we're like ants. I mean, like even smaller than ants compared to space and the galaxy.
Right. Yeah.
I've seen so many different videos where they're doing all this research and they just continuously finding planets and I mean, like we're nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like to me, there has to be some kind of God, right? Something
Right.
is happening.
Some supreme being
that is allowing this earth to be in this space,
right,
without being scathed. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you look at how big our solar system is, and the galaxy, and there's one surviving planet.
Allegedly, how big it is.
I mean, but this one planet is functioning with people on it, and we're able to stay here without being hit by meteors or any of this other stuff that's flying through the space. And we're just like this is space and this is us, and this is the galaxy, right? This is the little. That's crazy to me.
And to think that we're the only ones. Like I just.
Do aliens exist, Brad? Do aliens?
I think aliens exist. I mean, all that good stuff.
You are an alien.
I probably am. We might be.
You're from the planet Doom.
I'm from the.
Hey,
we got all the uranium, vibranium, whatever you call it.
From this world, like we come from extraterrestrial. That's what they say. Yeah.
Huh.
We might be though.
We come from.
That's interesting.
Why do we have to be so arrogant to think that we are the golden children of the solar system?
We're from the planet Meme.
Mem.
Shout out to Donnie Mims. We use his name a lot this season.
Mims.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, man, that's crazy.
It is. It's deep though. It's
aliens, man. So do you believe in Men in Black? I mean, they say that there's a real group.
I watched a documentary on the Men in Black.
Yeah.
Like there's a real
That's
group
crazy.
out there that, dress in black. Just kind of like the movie that they dealing with extraterrestrials.
Yep.
You know what I'm
yep.
saying?
And they're going to come get you, Ebony.
Well.
They come take you back.
I guess.
Take you back to it.
That makes me special.
You are the queen on Ebony.
Planet
Ebony.
Talk Crazy.
Fat.
She's from
Patrick.
Planet Talk Crazy.
Patrick. I'm just from the planet. I don't take no mess.
Yeah, but you're light skinned, so there you go. Yeah.
Man, look.
Question.
We're gonna shift the subject a little bit. I mean, we're gonna keep touching on that flat Earth. I mean, that's a very interesting subject. And you think about space and
flat earthers need to come up with a new model. That's all.
First of all, man, flat earthers man need to make that show happen. So y'all can bring your data, whatever.
We want models, spheres. We want the whole.
Yeah, everything.
We want a model sitting on the
whiteboards,
table that shows.
Bring them memes.
Whiteboards.
Bring them whiteboards.
The school shootings.
Wow.
Let's talk about the school shootings because the young people ain't having it right now. I mean, they like something tells me that it's a way for them to get out of school, so they like that part of it. But also they fear for their life right now, and it's a real thing. But would y'all say that if and I'm gonna shift to race a little bit on this conversation. If this was Black Lives Matter, rooting and saying, look, urban schools being shot up by black kids, right? Would the conversation be a little different?
I'm pretty sure it would be.
Would it be different? Because I feel like a lot of the people that are really out there trying to root for this whole let's make a change. There's a lot of Caucasian kids, and they're really making an impact. They're going to the county, the state buildings, and black kids can't do that. So some parts of me saying that that's necessary because they are the majority, and that's what it takes for change to happen. Yeah. Unfortunately, that's what it takes for any change on any scale, whether it's a kid or an adult, is for everybody to come together and go down there. But it's almost like when black folks get that momentum to try and do something like that, it's not as impactful.
Yeah.
Why?
Or it gets
or it gets the narrative. It gets side rail.
Narrative.
Yeah.
Like they try to say that Black Lives
because
Matter
because we're not in a position where we can control laws or develop our own system. So, I mean, in my opinion, when you have a little voice or you don't utilize your voice because you have people that say, hey man, voting doesn't matter, blah, 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 okay, then the people that make the laws, they're going to make laws that aren't going to benefit you. It's unfortunate that these shootings are happening, right? but I'm not for gun control for several different reasons. I mean, I'm not for it because as black people, name one law that has really benefited us. If we want to touch on that as far as color, right? So now you want to remove the right to bear arms. Who does that benefit? It doesn't benefit us at all.
So is it fair to say that we shouldn't even try to fight for that anyway, because we're not going to be listened to?
No, I mean, we need to really embrace that. And I'm not advocating going out and shooting people. What I'm saying is, man, you should have the right to have a firearm, at least to keep inside of your own, of your own home.
So are they trying to disarm? Do you believe they're trying to disarm all the citizens, or
no?
Because I believe if you go disarm everybody, disarm police too. Nobody can carry gun, and nobody should be allowed.
I don't even think that they're trying to do that.
Yeah, they're just trying to.
They're just trying to put more restrictions on who can get them.
Who can purchase.
Okay.
And a lot of people who are with the NRA, or follow the NRA or for the NRA or own guns, a lot of guns. They don't want it to get to the point where they get guns taken away. Right. So they're fearing that if you start putting restrictions in, then eventually you're going to be taking all the guns away. I don't think that's what's going to happen. No. I don't think that that's what anybody... And Obama said that 4 or 5 years ago and broke it down. And it's crazy that this conversation is still happening today where people believe that their guns are going to be taken away.
But it's not going to happen. But it's not going to gain... I'm sorry, sis.
That's okay.
Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say it's gun control, not gun removal, right? Which is two totally different things, Which I mean, I agree with that. But even like the talk of having allowing teachers to be strapped,
Yeah,
that's the worst thing you could ever do.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, I gave this scenario.
Just put more law enforcement inside of these damn schools.
Right. Well, we were having a conversation at in
Ebony,
the student.
say it, spell word right now. Oh, you gonna
spell it right, right.
But can you walk in? Can you just walk into these schools though like that?
You're not supposed to.
Yeah.
Most of them have
not supposed to.
have security systems in place.
Like especially these elementary schools. Like, well, I don't know. My kids go to Tinley, so
Shout out to
I know they're like
are they
at
in
their
high
school. No, they're in. They go to Summit, Tinley Summit.
Okay.
But all their doors is locked. So you can't just walk in them doors. So I always question like, well, how do they just walk in these gunmen? Are even allowed to just walk in? Even when you go, even at the high school level, you walk in the front door. There's always someone there to check in. Right. You can't just walk in and just be roaming the hallway.
I've never been able to walk, even in my kids' school, when I got 2 kids in the same school. You're not just walking through the door. You got to go through the office first. So I mean, unless you walk through the office and taking everybody out and then going sliding through the door. I mean, I don't see how else that's happening.
Well, but that's if you're a visitor though. But if you're a student, it's easy because you're just walking in.
Yeah, as a student. And okay, well, if you're a student, how you getting in with these guns? Because I mean, like
they need,
especially in assault
rifle. That's they put them in there.
That's a big gun. That's a big gun for a little kid.
There's no trench coat.
But what does he carry? He got to carry like a duffel bag. Like, he carry it in a book bag.
Does it come in pieces?
He drove.
Does it come in pieces?
He probably drove, or he rode with someone.
Does the AR come in pieces?
I mean, he can.
Yeah, some of those.
Because you can break it down, and then you can have it stashed in different parts of.
I can see that.
Let me just not give too information. Somebody might be listening and taking
notes. It's too late, Ebony.
But but I mean, I can see you stashing it in different areas of the school, maybe. But see, these children, they plot and plan this stuff for a long time. Most of these children, they find diaries. They find blueprints. They find plans. So they're very strategic. It's not just, let me just put a gun, in my pants and hide it with my trench coat and just walk into school and start shooting people. They know the routines. They know everything.
Yeah, they know which security guards are going to be at certain spots.
Right. And I had this debate online before because somebody said, and I've heard people say, this wouldn't happen in the urban school, but the thing is though, and the argument is because they have tight security or they have police and all this other stuff, in the urban schools, so this is why it wouldn't happen. But my counter to that is
Has more police in the neighborhood stopped crime?
Exactly, right. But and not only that, not
mean,
only that, the thing is they're letting people. Okay, let's say if you weren't a student, or let's say if you were a student that was expelled, kicked out, or whatever, of what happens in a lot of schools, specifically even urban schools, because I've been in them where they had security, they didn't have enough, and somebody let them in because they didn't have enough security to do perimeter checks and all that stuff, to walk around and be visible, to make sure nobody's getting in the building.
I went to Arlington for half a semester, and they had 100 dads in the hallway.
Wow.
And there was still fights.
Yes. Yeah. So that debunks that whole theory right there. But that's the thing. But the thing is, though, they find guns in urban schools every day. They just don't use them in that same way. So it's not to say that because they have these security systems that there's not going to be a mass shooting. Right. Because there could be if they wanted to. They're just not thinking
as a teacher
on that level.
Would you want to equip yourself to protect yourself?
Heck no.
You know.
I don't want to. No, I would. I wouldn't. And I wouldn't. It's almost the same as I had compared it to something. What did I compare it to?
That was a good question for you, man. But he used to be a gangster back in the day.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Somebody test my gangster. Nah, that was something. There was something I was comparing it to, because basically what you're banking on an expectation that people are going to. Oh, I know what I did.
Great, man. Watching you drink that pop.
Me and the students were having a conversation about, and this was during the walkout.
Go ahead, sis. I'm sorry.
Thank you. During the walkouts, they were having a conversation about, students wanted to talk about it. And they asked me, because, I can respond if you ask me, but I can't give you my opinion. And so they were asking me, well, what do you think? Do you think we should have guns in the school? So I gave them two different scenarios. The first one is, if you say give teachers the right to bear arms in school, you're banking on the expectation that they'll use it with responsibility. Right. But that's almost like I told them, we have a dress code in school. But on special days, we don't have a dress code. So, but we have parameters for the dress code. Right. So if we say we having this fun activity for the day, and you can wear hoodies and sweats. Right? That's it. That's the parameter right there, the hoodies and sweats. What do you think they come to school with?
Everything else.
Anything else that's not hoodies and sweats. Because you said we don't have to wear a uniform. Right. But I'm banking on the fact that you're only going to follow the rules in those parameters. Right. Same things with teachers bearing arms. I'm banking on the fact that nobody has a mental illness. That nobody's going to have a bias. Or
you have to redo education.
You know what I'm saying?
What happens to people just being plain crazy?
Teacher evaluations, mental evaluations.
Or normal, but that's just how they think.
I had a student that had a very good point. He said, I think we should know if teachers have, we should know teachers' medical record as far as mental health. He said, we should know, I think we should know. And I said, you know what? That is a real deep, valid point.
There are a lot of people out there with mental issues that are very good at being social.
Yes.
But when they at home, they crazy as hell. No, seriously.
Yeah, that's the truth. I mean,
example, man.
Jeffrey Dahmer.
Function out in public, you would never know.
Social,
you never know.
At home, he eating people.
Think about the serial killers that have been married. Yeah. Married with children, come to find out they slicing people up and hit them in the basement all these years, and wife didn't even know.
Oh man, there's some crazy people out there. Now think about that, and think about the police force. Think about politics. Yeah. Who's to say that these people aren't involved in all these areas of our lives that have their hand on the button?
Right. Go.
Yes.
What? Go.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously,
it's true.
This is a big deal.
Someone commented, my brother commented, he tuned in. He said psychological assessment should be performed before people purchase guns. So I think some people do kind of, like, I work in mental health, so.
But wouldn't that
some
test
people gloss over it, like, what do you mean how?
I mean, so are you talking about like a test where they just like they answer like true or false or like A?
I don't know.
No, it would have to be more extensive.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay.
there's tests that, like, okay, for instance.
Don't police officers, don't they? I mean, I'm not equating it to that, but don't police officers go through some type of psychological?
Yeah.
Yes, they should.
Yeah, man.
Especially the CIA and the FBI.
Mhm.
But to me, again, if you look at the history of those exams, they're tailored toward a certain type of person. So
Demographic,
I mean, in some
Certain, yeah.
to me, some police communities or officers, or not, I'm gonna say officers. I want to say, what do you call a station police?
Yeah.
What do you call a group of officers in a building?
Squads.
No, he's talking about a jurisdiction or a doggone. It's right there. Precinct.
A precinct. Okay, so if your precinct is tailored toward, or if you live in a certain area where you have a majority of Caucasian officers, you don't necessarily get a lot of black officers.
Right.
Your programs and all of your stuff that you're doing is going to be more tailored toward the mindset of that, and it doesn't take into account your background.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So you can qualify and pass all these tests and get through these things and still become an officer, but you might be mentally challenged in some areas of, how people might think when you're out there. And I think that's the challenge of, and hopefully with all that's happened in the past 4 years, precincts and all these areas are taking into consideration that we just can't assume that people are what we think they are.
Right.
People are all different, and it's just unfortunate that a lot of the training and things. Like, I spoke with a couple of different officers, and they were saying that in their training 15 years ago, a lot of it was geared toward black people were the ones to watch out for. And that was just the culture of it. And hopefully that's changing.
Yeah.
So I ain't for teachers being armed. I think that's
teachers.
ridiculous idea.
Man, I think about my teacher, Mr. Jones. I told you about my teacher, Mr. Jones. Mr. Jones would have shot some people.
Hey,
he hated stupid kids. So if you
shout out
stupid
to
and you got a gun,
man.
He said he hated stupid
he
kids.
hated stupid kids. I don't even know why Mr. Jones was a teacher.
My sixth grade teacher,
he couldn't
Mr.
take
Clee, would have shot about 25 kids. Hey man, Mr. Clee threatened me, man, one day. Oh man, he threatened me, boy. He had me shook too.
Oh my goodness.
Man, I was cutting up, man, in class. He pulled me outside, and I told him, I said, look, I'm gonna tell my granddaddy on you. Hey man, that man grabbed me, man, like this, and pulled me right to his nose and was like, look here, you tell your granddaddy all you want. I'll sue your ass. Do you hear me? I was like, man.
You tell the kid
We need
that?
more Mr. Cleese, right?
Hey man, Mr.
Shoot.
Clee was wrong, man. Look, I see him. Look, he put this dude outside with his desk in the cold.
Oh.
Outside. I was dying.
Did he ever cut up again?
You know what though?
He did.
Yeah.
You know what
dang.
though? It's some kids out in this world.
Put that man outside.
I don't want to. It's some bad. It's always. I would say out of 20 kids, you're gonna get that one that make you want to hem them up. Now you a teacher. I know you didn't wanted to get into many, not wanted to, but would have had to get into many fights because some kids just they ready for it. They come in, they ain't scared of nothing. How do you respond to that? I couldn't be a teacher. I know for a fact I would be in jail if I was a teacher.
Well, you know what? That's funny because I've never actually had the thought to hem somebody up.
That's a lie.
Only
That's
because
a lie. Go ahead. That's a lie.
Not the Ebony we know.
I know.
When you hear
Well,
Patrick
let
up
me
in his
say
hallway 2 weeks ago.
when you say hem up, now, grabbing them by the collar and be like, look now. But I'm saying beat them up? No. Because first of all, they're children,
Right.
And that's the one thing I think about. But I have been in situations where I felt like I would have had to defend myself because a student is erratic, which is unfortunate because teachers have those moments where you have an erratic student.
Right.
And let's say if you don't have the support systems that you should have. like when you have those systems that will take a
For
child
sure,
out,
for
you
sure.
take them and put them back in the classroom when they're already a threat to the environment.
Right.
And you're thinking, okay, this dude does this, this, and this. I'm planning, 10 steps ahead. But then you're also thinking, hold on. Let's see, I got 3 children. I got bills,
Right. Yeah.
I gotta feed them, and you making those life decisions like, okay, hold on. And so at that point, guess what? I'm gonna take my whole class out the room and keep your butt in there by yourself, and then y'all can come and get them. Because I'm not, but it's all a matter of letting somebody get you to that point. But you got students that don't care. You know what I'm saying? You got students that don't care. But at the same time,
children are our future.
look, I tell them every time.
It's videos all over Facebook
Yeah.
of teachers, him and
Just
kids.
spazzing
I'm talking about.
Hey, if I was a teacher,
Spazzing out.
I'd hem your child up too.
Hey,
Spazzing
I'll be out there
out.
like Dave Chappelle off of Nutty Professor.
Yeah.
Silence! I can't take this.
But I
I'm
think
trying to be peaceful.
another thing to consider though is just like we talk about mental illness, a lot of them are dealing with trauma and mental illness. So if you can see through all that, like I was just telling somebody today that, I can say some radical stuff. I ain't gonna lie, I be saying some radical stuff. But I mean, it works. You know what I'm saying?
Kids, you have to adjust your conversation and communication toward them, which is why
don't escalate it.
A lot of our kids in our community, black kids, don't adjust well to schools where it's the majority of Caucasian kids, because the teacher might look at that kid and say, "You don't listen." When that kid is saying, "I'm trying to listen, but I'm too distracted by things. Help me focus."
Yeah.
And some schools got programs like that. I know in Brownsburg they have a couple of different programs where they'll pull a kid out of the school, out of the classroom, and they'll work with them for the most of the day. And then when they get comfortable with how they operate and understand, then they put them back in. I think all schools need a program like that, but unfortunately, a lot of the schools can't afford to do that, and don't have the resources to do that. So a lot of kids, suffer or go through these phases where they just become problem kids or get put on Ritalin and all this other stuff when it's unnecessary. It's just that some kids learn differently, and we need to take that into consideration.
Someone said, I asked you this since you're in education. Someone said you should bring prayer back to school.
Yeah, so what is that quote? I've seen it like a few times, a lot of times on social media. What did it say? It said, just out the other day, somebody said, why does God allow children to get killed in school? And then the second part was, what is the second part? You don't allow God in school, or you don't allow me in school, or something like that. I don't know, because I think there was bad kids when we had prayer too. So I don't understand how that would change anything about the environment.
Yeah.
But what if the students had or they practiced different beliefs?
Now that would be cool. I think that would be nice.
I think meditation would be good.
And that's something that
they incorporate that. That kind of helps.
I mean, that's part of
Which is
prayer too. That's part
It
of
is.
Yeah, and it's universal too.
Yes.
Which is really, they kind of coined it now as mindfulness. So, like in my class, we do meditation. When I can tell they on 10, before I start my class, we're gonna meditate. I put on music. I'll spray lavender oil or stress relief oil. I let them, take about 2-3 minutes, maybe even 5 minutes. Depends on how crunk. And they do, but sometimes I ain't gonna lie, I mess this up too bad to where I'm like, dang, let me let's regroup, stand up, do something, because I done made us too daggone relaxed and sleepy.
She go over there playing some Miles Davis. Talk about breathe in and breathe out, listen to jazz,
burning incense and all that stuff.
Creating a good energy.
But as a teacher, you have to figure out how to interact with your kids, and you have to find ways. You're supposed to find ways to help them learn better. But there are some teachers who just don't want to get out of their comfort zone, and they're used to teaching a certain group of people a certain way, and they want to stay there. And that's how a lot of the kids, decide that school's not for me because they don't get me.
Robert said, "How about recess?" Man, they need to bring back recess.
You come to
Man,
You know,
I've been hearing
they don't have
kickball.
recess in some elementary
Kids got
schools.
burn energy, man.
Yes.
Kickball energy.
Come on, man.
Come on.
And then they saying about what 9, 10-year-olds or even 5 and 6-year-olds, they don't want to sit down. I don't want to sit down.
Of course they want to sit down. They got all the energy, they can't burn it.
Right.
Shoot, my son is 7. He bounces off the wall.
Oh, my
like,
God.
Literally jumping off the furniture.
Yeah, my son does too.
All types of
Yeah.
stuff.
Shout out to LP.
You know?
Little Pat.
Yeah, man. Man, listen, Pat can stay up all day.
Little Pat
Yeah.
got
Man,
100 questions
my
for
son
you.
stayed up for like, I feel bad to say.
Nah, I mean,
My son stayed up for like
I read that.
23 hours straight.
Hey, man, that sounds like Little Pat,
Like,
bro.
for real, for 23 hours straight.
Man.
He finally crashed.
You know what I did one night, man?
Man.
Hey, man, you know what I did on purpose, man, to Pat one night? He woke up right in the morning, ate, played all day. I didn't make him take a nap. Like I wanted to see how long that dude could
How
stay
you
up.
go, yeah.
Man, he stayed up to like 5 in the morning.
I'm telling you, that, look.
Like, I mean, he
look,
stayed up and
I
like, he
used to
went
be
to
able
sleep
to
in
do
my
that.
loft.
look.
I mean, he was sleeping in the loft.
Look.
I used to stay
I
up
used
until
to
the
do that
sun
on
came up.
That was on the weekends,
Yeah,
though.
yeah.
My
And
son
the
tried
summer.
to do that, man. One
He tried to do it on school
swear to God,
nights.
he did it on the school night. Cause I wake up, I go to, I'm a night owl. Yeah, I'm a night owl. So
Oh my God.
sometimes I'll be up to like 1, you know,
Uh-huh.
1 in the morning.
Me too.
2 in the morning
Two
sometimes.
or three
And so he was still up. I'm like, hey man,
Wide awake.
you need to go to bed. Like, what are you doing? It's 2 o'clock. You gotta get up in 4 hours. End up leaving his TV on. Woke up like around 5. His TV was still on. I get up, check on him.
Yeah,
He's
you
still
popcorn.
Nah, he's just still up chilling.
Yeah,
like,
chilling, yeah.
He ain't gotta go to school.
With a
Like,
big bowl
it's
of cereal.
And that's
I'm
how
like,
bad.
it's time to go to school. Like, what are you doing? You been up the whole, and I felt, of course, I felt awful as a parent.
I know his teacher
I'm like,
had it that day, boy.
And she said he couldn't keep his eyes open. I said, what? I didn't tell her that he been up all day.
Oh, he was up for
My kids
23
get
hours.
up at 6 a.m. My youngest son, Kai, he be
Shout out to
ready
Kai.
for school for 2 hours.
Kai's the golden child.
Sitting there
man.
ready
Ooh.
to get on the bus.
Hey, man,
Wow.
child. Hey,
I've never
man.
had that in me.
He will never be on CP
That ain't
time.
my-
Hey, man, my
Never.
godson was just like the golden child, man.
Does-
Oh, man, he was just like the golden child,
Kai's
man.
hilarious.
Shout out, man, to Kai.
And shout out to my son, Kingston.
Yeah, man.
Yes.
Shout out to man to Kingston, man.
I'm sure he's probably
That's fine.
should be in bed.
He probably up right now.
Oh, he's
Oh, yeah.
up. He on
Oh,
spring
yeah.
break. He's like, he ain't gotta go
Oh,
to
yeah,
sleep.
man. He's
I
doing
definitely know Pat
He's
is
either,
wide awake.
he's either drawing, dancing, or
That sounds like
throwing the football
He's
around.
yeah.
Yeah.
72 hours.
Yeah, yeah.
he dances too, man.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe,
You see the video?
maybe,
Man, go to my page and go on my video. I posted one. I ain't posted one of his videos in a while, but yeah, my
Pat be
son.
dabbing.
Yo, my
Oh
son
yeah, I
can
wanted
dance.
to talk
for real.
about
Uh-oh. So,
about your page.
Oh, my page.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, Bradford.
Talk about
Bradford. What is it
It's
again?
my name, Bradford Usher.
Usher
Speaks.
Speaks.
Yeah, yeah.
Tell us about that.
Well, it's a page that I started a few months ago. My wife had talked me into it. She was like, you know, she really encouraged me. You know, shout out to my wife.
Shout out to wife.
Shout out
What's
to
her name?
wife.
What's
Crystal Usher.
Shout out to
Crystal.
Crystal.
she's been here.
I know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's in the building, y'all. But you know, she's like,
Nah. Yeah. You know,
But,
she wants you man to shine today. That's all.
I
He's
guess so.
taking notes
yeah.
on everything
Show
you do
day,
at home.
baby.
So she
Oh,
can
yeah.
on the way home, you gonna know.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
right.
You
should have said that. You should have did that.
She already texted me. Speak into the mic.
Yeah.
Oh, that's why you did that.
Yeah. So,
Shout out to the producer out there in the lobby.
So I use that video because that page mainly to speak on just, I guess, knowledge that I've learned over the course of the years, and I'm really into health and wellness, and I'm passionate about that. So I just share just my knowledge of what I know, because people always ask me stuff. They inbox me and they have these questions. They want me to come up with like meal plans for them, or what are certain things that I should do, or whatever it is. And so she was like, you should start that page. You should do a page. First she was like, you should do a YouTube page. I said, whoa, hold on, you know, because I'm like, when you're talking in a camera, you're basically like talking to yourself. So I'm like, you know, I said, well, we'll do the page, you know. So she like was on me, so I did the page, and so every night I'm trying to do better at being more busy with it and doing more posts. And so I do videos, or I just write a post and just drop some gems, and I talk about anything from mainly I talk a lot about health and wellness, foods that you should stay away from, just different tips, like reading ingredients. You know, just because something says light doesn't necessarily mean it's healthy.
That's right.
You know, you got to read the ingredients. Got to read.
What does light mean?
Uh-oh.
Well, no, I'm just for the viewers because it may be well, why did you say that?
If 6 grams of sugar is actually 3 grams of sugar.
Like if the on the can,
right?
no, the can will say light something or like
or fat
people,
free.
Yeah, and people think because it
more
say
sugar
that it's or like with diet Coke or anything, people think because it says diet that
I don't know why
that is
it's
good.
anything diet because that has
aspartame, like a cancer juice,
Oh, my goodness.
basically.
That's all you drink. So they drink. Well, that's why I drink diet. I'm like,
Hey, listen, man, I told you, Brad was over there rolling over in his grave when he saw you.
I mean, this is
that
this is a lemonade.
Lemonade. Let Brad see it. Example. Here it is. Give it to Brad. Yeah, man. Let's go.
It says caffeine free. I just
it's caffeine free.
So yeah, you'll look at this label and you'll say, okay, this is cool. It says caffeine free, natural lemon flavored drink, but you gotta look over at the back.
Yeah.
So
what does it say?
the sugar, right? So one bottle, 57 grams of sugar. Dang. So this is
What's the daily? Does it say the daily value percentage that you should? How much of a percentage is that?
It says 2,000.
It should say on the side that percentage right there.
Oh, 19%.
19% in that one bottle. You got 80 to go. Wait a minute, how many servings is it though?
It says one bottle.
Serving size is
just one bottle.
So what you gonna do with the rest of your
But
80?
I'm gonna tell you something that.
Oh wait, it's the end of the day. What you do? Did you only have 80% today?
Yeah, you drink more than half.
We'll find out when I get home.
But
you
I'm
count
gonna
up all the stuff you
I'm gonna tell you something
no,
that's
you
really that people ignore a lot is the ingredients.
Yes.
Okay.
First thing that pop up. This is why I stay away from a lot of juice. I keep stuff like this away from my children. High fructose corn syrup.
Yes.
Ooh, straight cancers. And it has so much sugar. You know, and this is you find high fructose corn syrup in almost all condiments like your ketchup, mustard, barbecue sauce.
What about fruit juice in the store, like cranberry juice and all these other juices?
Those are good as long as it's natural. Has natural ingredients. But that I always look for that. As soon as I see simply what? Like lemonade and all that. Yeah, I don't drink that anymore. I don't drink really juice anymore.
Because I mean, I looked at like the ingredients and it's like basic water, lemons, and I mean that's.
Someone said that simply the brand is not a good brand or whatever. I don't know, man. I haven't done my homework on
that's the best shit I've ever had in my life.
It's like everything is tainted.
I know. And then also with the ingredients though, I don't know if y'all knew this, but the highest amounts of ingredients that are in something is always the first in line of the list of ingredients, if that makes sense. So whatever they put in the most, they start from what they put in the most and then go down from the least, and that's how your ingredients. So going back to your sun kiss.
Oh wow, okay.
The first thing is water.
Okay, well, got a lot of water.
A lot of water. We good. We got water. Second thing is.
But Brad would say, what kind of water?
Yeah, right. I know, right? Right. Is this well water?
Is it acidic?
Is it acidic? Right. Is it alkaline? Right. Which kind of water? Is it faucet water?
Listen, I know that's trash. Right. Bro, I'm thirsty.
Right. And then.
If it were up to me, I have something else. But yeah,
people love that ice man.
And then your second thing.
Acidic.
Is high fructose corn syrup. So you're not drinking. Well, look, and then let's look at the last stuff.
Barely got juice.
The last thing in here, right? So you got the you got your preservatives is the last thing. Of course, your coloring and everything else contains less than 2% of natural flavors. So the most what you're really drinking is water and high fructose corn syrup with a dash of color.
Man.
That's it.
That Red 40. What's Red 40?
And 2% of flavor. Ray's looking like I don't give a damn. I'm a drinker.
Let's go ahead and finish this out.
Right.
Think about it in the morning.
If you see his face, he's like, oh yeah.
Finish it out and think about it in the morning.
That's going to provoke Ray to go buy a whole case of that.
Right, exactly. Let me go get a case of high fructose corn syrup.
32 bottles for $2.99.
Hey, Ray said you
look, 32 for $2.99.
Huh?
Ice Mountain?
Yeah.
You can go to Kroger and get that for that price. You can go You can buy the
32 bottles.
great value for $35. You get $35 for like two.
Hey, man, DeMarcus,
$2.08.
man, he got on
Is that
the
better?
What about the KFC?
Yeah, man.
Hey,
Man, DeMarcus said, man, the man ruined
Ruined
KFC
KFC
for life.
for life.
Thanks, man.
I'm gonna tell y'all something about KFC. Look, I haven't had fast food in 5 years.
Shout out, man, to not having
Wow.
5 years, man.
5 years.
No Chipotle,
I gotta
no
clap into
nothing.
that.
I ain't had fast food since.
Tell us what you consider
Yesterday.
fast food.
Hey,
Well-
because Riley's is like,
Well,
poison,
I
man.
put it this way. I haven't had McDonald's, Subway.
Okay.
Like Subway, I'll do the little veggie pack. But veggie. I'll just do veggie. So, but like your main ones, like the McDonald's, Burger King, Arby's, what's the other? KFC,
Taco Bell.
Wendy's, Taco Bell.
I had Taco Bell earlier.
White Castles. That stuff.
Wait a minute.
You had Taco.
I was going to get some beans, and he scalded me for like 10 minutes
I did.
about
Yeah,
going to
man.
get just beans. I was like, Pat, I'm just getting beans. I need some protein.
Right.
And then you went and got
Taco Bell.
some.
Why don't you go to?
Listen, baby,
And I
what you
went
get, beef?
to. Where did you tell me?
Big Chalupas, man.
Oh my God.
I did, man.
Y'all
How
need
many
to get off
bowel
that
movement have you had since that daggone
Beef
big
is a
Port
killer.
Tamika?
Man.
When was this?
Earlier, it was, and I made it a point to do it before he got here. I mean, and I'm being honest.
Did you hear
Listen.
hide the evidence?
Yeah, oh yeah, I took it straight. Hey, look, I backed up everything because I knew he was coming because he texted me, right? I was in the office watching.
And you just
I
got
was in the office watching, mom, this mom documentary,
Uh-huh.
and then he texted and said, "Yo, I'll be there in about 20." I said, "Man, you know what? I better go make grab
You
some."
better smash.
Hey, I went straight there. I smashed it quick. I was like, man, Brad ain't about to. Hey man, what you eating, man? You stupid.
Don't worry about it.
Hey, man. I
Oh,
smashed
man.
it quick. See, he didn't even know that until I said it.
It's so hard to get off of this American way of eating.
It's terrible,
I
man.
mean, because
That's
it's so
why everybody gets
easy
sick.
and quick to get to. You know what
Sure
I'm saying?
is.
And it is probably why people sick. Like, man, I
So
stopped
what?
drinking milk. I stopped drinking milk like
Oh,
2
good
years
for you.
ago. 2
Everybody,
years ago.
hey, y'all need to
Yeah,
stop
I
drinking
haven't
Yeah,
milk
milk.
for 2
especially
years.
you
Almond milk
asthmatic.
is good.
Stop
though.
giving your kids milk.
Is almond milk good?
Almond milk, yeah.
Yeah, it's perfect. Okay, that's
Not
that's
here.
all we get.
Why should
Don't
people
worry,
stop giving their kids milk?
Right.
Stop giving your kids milk. I never posted it, so I think it was too long because I try to keep my videos short because you know people's attention span, so I don't.
Yeah.
I
Man,
won't
you
make
be
it
going
too
off
long.
on every video.
I try not to. I really try to keep it
Angry
short.
man.
You know, I said, don't be going. Don't listen to that. Don't listen.
See how the sun sets at 5 p.m.
And grab me hot on there, man. Can y'all explain this to me? This don't make no sense.
Give me a T-shirt.
Listen.
Y'all explain this to me.
It's
With
like
Brad's
it's
face on it.
cow's milk. You know what
Cow's
I'm saying?
milk.
It's
Cow's milk is
man.
for
And
cow
milk
babies.
It's for cow baby. And milk, 60% of the milk, if not more, is made out of blood and pus, or contains blood and pus.
Good God.
It's on the What the Health document.
Even if they stream it through, and this is why I stopped drinking it, because even the milk, as much as it is strained and processed, and they add stuff to it to make it even worse.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just bad for you. That's one thing that I stopped.
Robert.
Actually, it's been like 3 years.
It doesn't even matter if it's organic milk. It's cow's
From
milk.
a cow.
That's what you really have to grasp the concept of when it comes to that milk. It's cow's milk. It's for a cow. We don't need. Look, my 2-year-old daughter has never had milk. Ever. Well, she had it once because my mother gave it.
What is a supplement for calcium though? Because some people say
Orange juice has
it make your
calcium.
bones strong. That
Orange
was a
juice has
commercial.
A
calcium.
vegetables, man, can have calcium in
Yeah,
it.
you get calcium. Hey, that if
Yeah,
anything, milk
that's
does the
right.
opposite to
Right.
you because it strips the calcium from your bones. So you don't need milk to build calcium. But you say, well, like one
And
of
they
my
stopped
frat brothers-
advertising that too.
Yeah, one of my frat brothers said to me, he was like, "Well, man, you gotta drink milk. The baby's gotta drink milk. Isn't that what the doctors give them once they turn 1?" I'm like, "Yeah, but my daughter never touched milk. My oldest two did because I didn't
Right,
know.
right,
But knowing
right.
now, no, my kid, none of them now. They still would because I used to buy milk for them, but all they wanted was the chocolate milk.
Right.
So I would buy regular milk and then do it old school. Take the Nestle Quick, mix it in there for them. I would never buy the pre-made. For those if y'all buying y'all kids chocolate milk, please do not buy them pre-made chocolate milk.
About the almond.
The
Almond chocolate milk.
Almond milk is fine. I'm talking about dairy.
That
Almond is
is
hey,
solidified.
Yeah, I'm trying to listen.
I'm talking about
That almond.
I'm talking about your
Hey,
vitamin
man, that
D,
cashew chocolate milk
Yes.
tastes like Reese cups, man.
I've never
I
had it.
disagree.
It You crazy. Well,
I tried
listen. Well, this the dude that he don't
I
eat
still
nothing.
can't drink a glass of it, but I put it in stuff.
Drink the chocolate one.
But I never was a glass. Nah, I ain't gonna lie. I used to drink milk on the rocks.
No,
that's
that's
banana milk, coconut milk. I tried all the milk.
Look,
I don't like
that chocolate almond milk
Uh-huh.
and that chocolate that chocolate cashew milk
I'm gonna have to try
tastes
that.
just like Reese cups.
Where do you get that from?
I had to stop drinking. I was like, nah, man, I'm good.
Where do you get it from?
Walmart. Yeah, Walmart or Kroger.
It's
Yeah,
an acquired taste.
Kroger. Yeah, man, it's great. It's good, man.
It is an
Okay.
acquired
It-
taste.
I'm gonna have to check that.
I mean, it tastes like almonds and it tastes just like cashews, but that chocolate one tastes like Reese cups, man. I had to stop drinking that.
But I don't get the plain almond milk. I get vanilla.
Yeah,
Yes, that's what I
Like,
get.
like,
Yeah.
so get
You
this.
probably didn't have vanilla, right? That's what
I
it
tried
was.
all
All
of
of
them.
but consider the source.
One every
Yes.
week because I was trying to find
I mean,
out
what-
something that I could drink.
You can't
know,
go
that
from
was-
Sunkist to
Consider the
vanilla.
source. Ray doesn't eat anything. Ray eats gummy bears and
That is
pop
partially
Pop.
true.
and pop.
What part is
That's it.
true? The
That's
gummy
another
bears?
thing.
All of it?
I don't drink pop anymore either.
Wow.
My kids has never had pop. Any of them.
I don't let my kids drink pop. I try not to drink pop.
It's too much
Yeah, I
sugar.
need to talk to Misty.
Sugar,
Misty
acid.
loves pop.
All that
It's
stuff.
so
Yeah,
much
hey,
sugar.
Misty look like, man, she drink Faygo Red all day.
Misty loves pop.
That's about
Yeah.
40 grams of sugar.
Yeah.
Uh-oh,
She's
see?
drinking
Hey,
more
look.
water though.
And that's
acid,
just,
though.
that ain't even the whole bottle. That's the whole, if she drinking the bottle. I mean, that's,
Man.
I mean, it's probably 2 servings.
You know what, man? I have not had pop in like 12 years. Like,
That's
I haven't had
good.
pop at all.
Yeah,
Chill.
since we took him off the doorstep of IUPUI.
Hey, shout out, man, to that day. Hey, man, we had a very nice day that day, man.
Free event.
That was about
And
21
they
years
had a
ago.
bunch of pops outside the staircase. We all took all of them.
Hey, man, we had 2 big
They
cases.
told us we could take them.
Okay.
And everybody just grabbed like it was
Cases.
like 24 pack. It was nice.
Y'all just had a feast up.
Yeah.
So even going back to that milk, it has enzymes that cause mucus. So your asthmatics and just people, if you constantly cough and you get bronchitis constantly,
I
It's the
cough a
milk.
lot after
It's the
when
milk.
I eat fast food. That's why I don't eat fast food that much.
Yeah.
It makes me cough like something's clogging up my pipe.
It's
or
something that is,
it's producing mucus.
It's the
Yeah.
worst feeling in the
Because it's
world.
so acidic.
yeah.
Yeah.
So the more acidic your diet is, the more mucus you'll produce, which then is going to manifest into sickness. That's why you get sick.
In your experience in eating more healthy food,
Yeah.
do you get sick or do you feel different? Like, what's the
Man.
difference between
I feel
having
I feel amazing, especially since giving up meat. That's really what, like, I started.
why was
noticing
meat the
a bit.
first thing to go?
Well, it wasn't the first. It was the last thing.
Oh, it was the last
To be honest,
thing to go.
because I started getting into like fitness. I started doing CrossFit in 2013.
Yeah.
So I did this thing by Advocare called the 24-day challenge, which is really like a paleo diet. So that's what really taught me how to eat right and eat the right amount of portions. And so from there is what I kind of like established how to eat right and eat clean. And then I had a friend of mine who kind of put me on to, like, he'd been a vegetarian for like 5 years. So he's the one that was like, man, you just need to give up that, he called it flesh. You just need to give up that flesh.
Oh God, when you put it that way.
Yeah,
Right.
you need to give up that flesh. So I'm
flesh.
Think about it. Our teeth are not made to like eat.
Tear into
Yeah,
that
we're
fat.
herbivores.
herbivores.
Yeah,
Technically herbivores. Like our bodies are built like that of gorillas and
Look at all the big animals, man.
come on, the
they're
largest animals on the
man,
planet.
they're herbivores. All of them.
Herbivores.
Yeah.
Herbivores are either raw, as they call it, vegan diet. Strongest, biggest
That's crazy.
animals on the planet.
That's
world.
the
And
that's
right
real
now,
big.
because
The strongest and the biggest.
Because
eat,
all the
eat
protein
raw
comes
vegetables.
from vegetables,
comes
right?
from plants.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
where your
All the
protein comes
protein
from.
Broccoli
comes
has
from
a
plants.
huge
And people-
amount of protein.
Yeah, and people always ask me, they be like, well, man, how you get your protein? I
And
mean,
it all comes from plants anyway.
it comes from plants.
Yeah.
It's all from plants. It's really not the amount of protein you consume. It's really the source of protein.
Okay.
So you want that good source because plant
Like, what
protein
are good
is its
sources?
purest form.
Like, what are good sources of
Good
it?
source-
Like lentils or something like that?
Yeah, like lentils,
Legumes.
chia seeds, pig seeds, chickpeas.
So you ain't gonna eat them?
I'm gonna try.
Beans.
I've been meaning it's been on your grocery
Yeah.
list. Get
Kale
some
has
beans.
some protein. Spinach has protein.
Beans, like-
broccoli has protein.
Like beans, like as far as like black beans
all beans.
or something.
Yeah, all beans.
all
Except
beans
that
have protein.
My white beans, man. I'm not
white
eating white.
beans.
Oh no, I'm not eating white beans.
What's wrong? You ain't had navy bean soup.
No,
Yeah,
no good.
baby beans.
Woo!
I'm
You
good
had
on that.
What's
right.
navy bean soup?
It's just navy
good on
beans. It's the recipe from the Nation of Islam.
Is it blue?
Well, from
You said is it blue?
Elijah Muhammad. Is it blue? Blue?
Yeah, you
Navy
said navy.
beans. Navy
Oh
beans.
no.
Hey, shout out,
My
man.
brain work on colors.
Right,
You gotta help me.
Shout out to Ray. You talk about, man. Is it blue?
Is it blue?
Is it blue? Nah, man.
Oh,
They're
my
like
God.
white.
Ain't
They're like
no blue beans.
Hey man, white beans are nasty. Oh my god.
Did you
Hold
have a
on.
grandma that
You
ate
make that
those
white
big
chicken- that white
kick-
chili
those,
chicken
what
stuff
are
with
them
white
big
beans.
No, there's no white beans in my white chicken chili, dog. Don't ever disrespect my white chicken chili, brother.
Then what do you make it with?
I don't make it with white beans.
Well,
So-
it
I
ain't
make it
white
with chili
chili
beans.
chicken.
So you making chicken soup?
No, they have like the
Tex-Mex
actual white
style.
chicken chili powder,
Uh huh.
and I'm not gonna give out my recipe yet.
Okay.
But just know it's fire. It's flame, fire, whatever you want to
Gumbo
call
with almond milk in it. That's what
it. He
it
said
is.
gumbo with almond milk. Now I do put almond milk in my mashed potatoes though. And you know,
Vanilla.
I use almond milk for a lot of
Yeah.
lot of stuff. That
Everything.
like
Same thing
when I
with
make
milk for.
pancakes, I use almond milk. I don't even use use almond milk. I don't buy the I buy the one that you gotta put the egg in there,
Yeah.
with the oil, and then
Mhm.
I don't buy the pre-made. I think there's a difference.
So do you eat eggs or the egg white?
I do the egg whites,
Egg
and
white,
I don't
okay.
do a lot of eggs though.
Yeah.
How do you do just the egg white?
Just take
Oh
out
my
the
God,
yolk.
right.
Yeah. I mean,
Like,
no,
crack
no,
open the
no. I
egg.
mean,
Because
it's
Oh, you got the yellow thing. in it.
Anomaly.
Yeah, you split open the egg, and then you just kind of scoop
Yeah.
the egg white out, and just don't let the yolk fall in to the
Oh,
bowl.
okay.
Yeah, so
you
that
just
way-
throw that
Kind of
part
toss
away.
it back and
Yeah.
forth
Or-
in the shell.
But
Yeah.
Man,
And
you
it
know,
drips
the
through.
best part when you scramble it up.
That's the worst part.
Try,
Yeah,
try
but
the
man,
try the white.
yeah,
We were
I
just
ain't
talking
eating
before the
eggs
show
no
about a
more.
fried
all that
egg white
cholesterol
sandwich.
and all.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
And that's
yeah.
where all your
These
protein
eggs.
is.
Turkey
Protein
bacon,
is in the
turkey
egg.
bacon, and egg whites.
What if you
Fried.
eat them raw though?
Turkey
Why do
bacon.
you- why-
No, turkey bacon is bad for you too.
Oh, here we go.
Sorry, people. Because it's high in sodium.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
It's a lot of sodium.
Oh man,
Like
let me
pork
break
bacon
down. Hold on.
has a lot of fat.
Hot fries.
yeah.
But
I haven't
turkey
had pork
bacon
since
is more
2001.
lean, but it has a ton of sodium in it. You know, so I used to do a lot of turkey, everything, turkey sausage, turkey bacon, but it has so much sodium. So that'll kind of mess with your blood pressure a little bit over time if you consume a lot of that.
Yeah, man. I haven't had
Stay away
swine.
from everything.
I haven't had a pork chop since 2001.
Yeah, some
Shout
people,
out to No Pork Chops
everybody
since
thinks that.
2001.
Yes.
Shout out to that.
But it has me feeling great, man. Like my mind feels a lot clearer, focused. Even my temperament has changed.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Like, yeah, it's
Explain
got,
that.
like I just
Except for when somebody talk about flat Earth.
Right.
sometimes
Can you explain this to me?
You turn it back on.
He was like Denzel
It's a trigger
and
word.
hey man, he was like Denzel and Training Day. Y'all gonna do this to me?
Yeah, but it does. Think about this. This is an analogy I gave one time when I was. Sometimes I do speaking engagements about health and wellness, but I gave this analogy one time because somebody used this in a video I saw, and it was a great analogy. If you think of nature and think of animals, animals like lions, tigers, hyenas, alligators, animals that eat other animals. You notice that nature is real aggressive. They have their aggressive nature. But if you look at animals who don't eat other animals, they eat food that comes from the earth, like gorillas, zebras, deers.
Yeah.
You notice they're so calm. They just chill.
That's a good
And it's the
point.
same thing. Like when I gave up the meat and wasn't consuming it, I know now I know it's how I
I
have
about
more.
gorillas, the way that
calm.
gorilla dragged that little boy in
Oh
Cincinnati.
my
I
God.
ain't trying to hurt that little boy though, man. He just dragging
Hey,
him.
man,
You
okay.
gotta think how strong the gorillas are though.
Yeah,
he
but
was
now-
just grabbing
now,
him.
now, Brad.
He ain't trying to
Now, Brad. Let's be real for a second. Listen. Hypothetically speaking, if that was your little boy, would you have shot that gorilla?
First of all, my son would have been down there. That's the first thing. That's the first thing. But second thing, man, I don't know, because he wasn't harming the little boy though.
Hey man,
He wasn't doing nothing. I believe he was trying to like protect the little boy. You know what I'm saying? Because you gotta think how strong gorillas are. They're labeled as like one of the strongest animals on the planet.
They don't know
So
their
when he
own
just
strength.
when he grabbed that little boy, he just pulled him. he wasn't like trying to hurt him.
Standing them up.
Yeah, he was standing them up.
Harambe.
And then he was just sitting there just watching them. The boy was just scared, which is understandable.
But how they drag their own kids too, like
yeah, they do the same thing. So I don't think that gorilla deserved to be shot.
R.I.P. Harambe.
Yeah, Harambe. You know what I'm saying?
Man.
But that's a good point on the temperament, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Man, you know what? I never thought of it like that, man. That's,
And
wow.
eating beef and stuff like that,
Yeah,
and
you know
consider the.
But there is a theory though, man,
What the?
where they talk about the Illuminati wants more people to become vegan
Hmm.
because it opens up their mind to get brainwashed.
Oh,
No,
Who
they-
said that?
man, yeah.
Yeah, there's a
So
theory
funny.
on that. You can YouTube that. I watched the
Really?
video on it last year.
Oh,
They
my
talked about, man,
God.
like all these people turning vegan. That's the
Let me
Illuminati's
guess.
plan.
Is he a meat eater?
I don't know.
That's what you need to ask yourself. That's what you need to find out. When you listen to people, I don't mean to.
Here we go.
Trying to get everybody back to meat.
Yeah,
you go.
I'm not trying to like. I don't want y'all to think I'm judging or nothing like that. But I say meat eaters, but I'm not trying to like. I'm not talking to my viewers. Just to y'all.
Sure.
But you get people like that
Go
are
to it, right?
against being a vegan or
Vegans
plant based.
and the
They'll try to
Illuminati.
speak negative.
Right.
But them
Something
themselves
that-
have never been vegan, never
Right,
been.
right.
So they'll speak negative
They
about
haven't
it.
tried
You know,
it.
they haven't even tried it. But they think they know what it's like to be a vegan or a vegetarian, and they always have something negative to say about it. And I'm just like that. So if they eat meat themselves, I'm listening to them because they just feeding me propaganda.
Speaking from that
Yeah. How could
aggressive blood.
how could think about this?
animal blood.
See, look. Vegans, the Illuminati, and the end of the world.
Come on now.
That's 12 minutes.
Come on now. Who said that crap?
And look. Is vegetarianism and Illuminati scam. I'm telling you, hey man,
Oh
they
my
look,
God.
they have videos.
See, you know what happened was what the hell scared a lot of people.
It's too much.
And so everybody was like,
I mean,
oh,
like,
I'm just going vegan, I'm going to go
To the
vegan.
point where you can't live, almost. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I mean, just stay in the house.
There's so much going on.
And eat brown rice all day.
What do you believe?
Right.
What don't you believe?
Look.
I mean,
it's food that comes from the earth.
Mm-hmm.
How could it be
Right, how can you
bad
dispute
food?
that?
How do you dispute that? That's food that comes from God.
Nature, you
It's
know.
nature. You know
But you know, I can see how
Come
it
on,
could
man.
be. I mean, I can see how it could be a way to make. I mean, because that's what happens with anything. Like I was talking to somebody about yoga. You know, being so commercialized nowadays that there's so many different forms of yoga, and but the original yoga wasn't the stretching and the bending and the classes, and you know, I mean, the way they do it now is so commercial, but and it's to make a profit, you know, off of people's willingness to be well and be healthy. So I can see how they can say it's I can't see how they would say it's Illuminati, but you know what I'm saying. But I think it sounds like they're coming from the standpoint of it's a way to make a profit. I mean, everything's a way to make a profit. They've been making a profit off of eating meat
They're
forever.
making a profit off your health.
They make it
They want you to
right.
be sick.
Yeah.
So they're making a profit off of that.
So,
Come on,
right, so
man.
ain't that the truth? So why would Illuminati say something about? Well, I guess that does go to the point. Illuminati is saying something about being
So
a
then
vegetarian, so you
people-
can be sick.
Look,
'Cause
whoever
we can't make
making
money
them
when you
videos,
well.
whoever making them videos, that person's a demon. Stay away from that. You know what I'm saying? How somebody
Yeah.
gonna be
Blair
against
Ellis
eating
said-
Against eating healthy.
That don't make no
Blair
sense.
Ellis said the movie didn't stop me from eating meat. I can't give it up.
I heard that. I wanted to read a lot of children. Well, first of all, hot fries. A lot of children are eating. Teenagers. I'm guilty with my children. I don't buy them, but when they're at school and
What they
all,
call
you
them
know,
Takis.
hot fry. Oh, I got
God.
Takis. Oh, I got
My daughter
Takis.
loves
information.
them things.
Well, let me
Trash.
let me break down the Takis, honey, because I had to do this the other day to my students, right? Because I mean, this is real. This is real. Science, nutrition, and science is real when it comes to. We talked about aggressive students. Students wanting to fight you. Look at the diet of teenagers nowadays. The diet of children. So here's
Back to
Takis.
the temple.
Yeah.
Now this is the regular bag of Takis. Now we talked about serving size, right? So nutritional facts will give you the facts for per serving. So you may look at a bag and be like, oh, cool, these are just 150 calories. I'm straight for the rest of the day. But that may be for one serving, but it may be 9 in the bag.
Yep.
Who can eat only one fruit? Who's counting For example,
Half that
Takis,
bag gonna be
13
gone.
pieces. Who the heck is counting 13 chips as they
Nobody.
eat? Nobody's counting 13.
Once you pop, you
I'm
can't
on number
stop.
12. Right. Oh, shoot. I'm on number 12. I got one more to go. And then I'm going to fold the bag up and put a clip on it. No, we're not doing that.
Finish it off.
Right. Right. So, this is now, again, this is like the popular chip among teenagers. Okay. 13 pieces, 1 serving. There's 9 servings in a bag.
What?
Right? 9. Okay. 1 serving has, and I just talked about the salt, has 420 milligrams of salt in one serving.
Wow.
So multiply 420 times 9. Let me get my calculator. Hold on. Let me see. 400.
It's 4,200 and take off 420.
Yeah, that love.
It's
You gotta
like
stop buying
3,000.
Nah, somebody got A's in math. That's 3,780 milligrams of salt.
That explains why
That's
these kids, when they be dancing,
that's
they be,
what I'm
you ever see a kid that be vibrating in place and they call that dancing?
Vibrating
Too much
place.
energy in one
Right.
spot.
So that is 18, just 13 chips is 18% of their daily value, what they're supposed to have.
That's unbelievable.
So consider the mind, how that affects your brain. How does that affect your neurological system? How does that affect you thinking and functioning? That's just the one bag. Mind you, most of them gonna have 3 a day, 2 to 3.
Yeah.
So you done ate 9,000 grams of salt,
Your
and you don't drink water,
Yeah, your stomach is your second
and you don't
brain.
drink water. It's man.
Your
So
stomach is your second brain. They both connected. You know what I'm saying? Like, I have this
Those
saying,
Takis are crazy.
when you eat right, you're thinking right. If you ain't eating right,
yeah,
you ain't thinking
you're
right.
not thinking right.
That's my
Not
saying,
thinking.
because your stomach is it's your
So
second
we all
stomach,
need to
so
start
whatever
eating
you-
better, man.
Yeah,
Shoot,
everybody.
who you telling?
A lot of people getting out of here, man, because of health. Even with cancer, like I don't believe, like we've been in a way indoctrinated into believing like we're just like you catch cancer, or you get cancer like you catch a cold or catching the flu. I honestly believe that it's in the food that we eat why we're getting why we're getting cancer, because
No
some of
doubt.
the food feeds the cancer
Sure does.
cells in our bodies. That
Give up that
like,
church's chicken, man. Leave
like
the
dormant.
churches alone.
you know, so if you like a lot of the processed meats, the processed foods is really cancerous.
Right.
You know, so like you eating vegetables out of a
You
can.
think like they
It's
and let's
cancer.
just say they find a cure. You know what I'm saying?
There
for
is a
that.
cure.
Now you're enabling the ability to continue to eat how you want to eat as well.
Yeah, true.
So you know,
But the
should
cure
we
is
have
in
a
the
cure?
food.
Right.
Yeah, the
right.
You know what I'm saying? The
Right.
cure's in the
Dr.
food.
Sebi.
Right.
Yeah, like Dr. Sebi. I mean, the cure's in the food, so they don't. But they don't want you.
What
to,
did he pass away from?
The sickness is in the
I've been
food
trying to
and the
figure
cure.
it out.
Man,
I mean,
they
because
said it was,
for the person who says how you should eat
Said
to be
he was
healthy,
sick.
he should have lived for 150 years.
No, he went missing.
Yeah.
Didn't
Well,
he?
he got
Well,
he got locked up in a Mexico prison or Mexico jail or something. They caught him at the airport. It's a video. I don't know if it's still up, but it was the video because I saw the video on YouTube. They arrested him. He was in there for however 36 hours or however long, maybe longer than that. Said he got sick. You know, they said he would refuse to eat in there, which yeah, of course, if you eating, you know, he was
Right.
all about alkaline.
Right.
Eating alkaline food, so he's not about to eat no jail food. But
this
I
is
just,
pneumonia.
yeah, I don't believe
Now,
it.
how strange is that,
I
right?
believe they killed. I mean, he was a holistic doctor. I mean,
Man, there's a lot of
it's
those
like
doctors
50 of
coming
those,
missing.
yeah, a lot of
Yeah.
about 50 something
It's just crazy.
holistic doctors that's been killed over the past few years.
Yeah.
You know, this is found out, this coming in dead. I think one
Yeah,
of them
he's
they
in
found
Honduras.
2 bullets to the head. You know, so they taking them out because they're a threat to the
system.
doctors and
Yeah.
Right.
medical field. Just like even like I say, your boy going through it right now, Tom Brady, in a sense. Like, have you been hearing? Because he's been using that guru, holistic type doctor or whatever.
Oh, wow.
And it's
I
been
see that.
conflicting with because other players are now wanting to try him out, and it's
Look at that.
conflicting with the medical staff. So they like, hey man, because Tom wants to take the guy on the
Oh,
road with him and all that.
I saw
and
that.
LeBron's going through the same thing
Yeah.
now with
Uh-oh.
his guy that he's using.
These leagues are
You
waking
know,
up.
he went from 280 to like 264.
Yeah.
I mean, he thinned that like one season when it started. He was real
Yeah, he
skinny.
was thin.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man,
because
he was
I think
like
him and D
245,
Wade did it together. Something.
Yeah.
They lost like
That's tough.
like a bunch
And that
of
man
weight,
is
but-
in his 15th season and he's playing like he's in his third season. That's unbelievable.
Yeah, he stays in incredible shape.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of it has to do with conditioning and taking care of his
Diet
body.
and everything. Yeah,
You know, your body is your temple. A lot of us, we treat our bodies like they dumpsters.
See,
We
Jordan
treat our
was
cars
out there,
better
man,
than we
he
treat
stayed.
our own body.
Right.
You know?
Yeah,
And so
That's why he
you
retired
gotta,
early.
you gotta treat that shit.
Did Jordan
just
play
like
as long
it
as
is.
LeBron?
Jordan played he played a total of 15 years, but they were all like broken up.
Okay.
But Mike had like 1 or 2 cigars before games and steak and potatoes before every game.
Think about if he had.
How you gonna
Wow.
smoke a cigar, man, before a game?
Yeah.
Wow.
Think about if he ate healthy. Like,
Right,
think if he
right.
had the knowledge that players have today,
Mm-hmm.
where they can, you know, they be like, they're more educated on health and realize how it ties into your performance when it comes to sports or working out, exercise. Because even like with CrossFit, and some people like when they struggle, they be like, man, I'm struggling through these workouts, and I'll be like, what are you eating? Like, what's your diet? Like, they're like, oh, it's horrible. I said, that's why. If you clean your diet up, you'll get through these workouts a lot better. And I noticed that too. Like when I eat clean, my performance is better. I have a better workout. You know, so sleep better.
What should one stay close to in regards to what fruits and vegetables? That's it. What's the fix?
Anything that's up from the earth.
Yeah, anything that's from the earth is good.
Well, cocaine.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, marijuana.
Yeah, there are some things.
What about that herb? What that herbal acid?
Hey,
There are some things
Dr. Sebi
There
smoke
are
weed.
that people
All the
take
time,
advantage
baby.
of.
Yeah, Dr. Sebi smoke weed. He's like, hey, smoke.
Do y'all, speaking of weed, do y'all think weed should be legalized everywhere? 'Cause
Yes.
I do.
Yes.
Yes, I do.
I
And
do.
I don't even smoke it, but
I've
yeah,
never
I do.
smoked, but to me,
Yeah.
what it's doing for profit. I mean, this is a capitalistic country, and then
Yes,
for
yes.
profit, they need to go ahead and
Oh,
legalize
man. I'm
that.
open to one.
I mean, because
I
Colorado,
wanna invest in some
California,
weed
they're
stock.
investing
I've
in
been saying it
education,
forever.
and they're doing all kind of phenomenal things with that. So.
There's a nice little. There's
proven.
it's coming up, or maybe it passed in Chicago. This big weed education
420 is
conference.
upon us.
Man, they
Yeah.
said
It's
that
coming.
weed, they said that weed, heals a lot of stuff. Like, a great deal of ailments, man, that are going on.
And you know,
So
inside
you
your
got to
body,
be careful
so.
when you say that, because
so
there's
real-
certain
real
different
good
kinds of
weed.
weeds out there.
Medical
Oh, my
marijuana.
You
God.
don't get that one guy like I've been smoking weed for 20 years,
that regular
and
weed.
it still make me sleepy and hungry.
That regular weed. The weed now is not the same, from what I hear.
Yeah.
From what I hear.
Is that
Light
from what
skin.
you
Before
hear,
y'all,
Ebony, or what you
before y'all
experienced?
say it, yes, from what I hear, yes. Because really, let's face
The
it,
herbal
you know,
essence.
right?
Now they got that.
Look, Robert said he has nothing to say on that topic. I hear you, Robert.
Yeah, I heard they got that organic, like organic.
they have organic.
Yeah, it has no
Wow.
scent or nothing like that.
Wow.
So,
What?
Unscented organic? What the?
I saw
I bet that
Heard
weed.
about
I saw it on Instagram. It's
That's
actually
good about that one.
some black women that own it.
Showing up to
Wow,
work.
and man,
Person
you
that
look
online. They
lit.
got a
Man, you smoke
website.
that weed, boy,
I
you gonna be
forgot what
like,
it's called.
hey, man, my skin look better.
Yeah.
Oh, that
It
weed.
says it's made out of hemp. It's like hemp.
Okay.
Am I saying that right?
Hemp.
Hemp.
Yeah.
Man, this is crazy how much marijuana has evolved in other states, and you know when they legalize it, you know, and then California is also one of the cities is giving people who were locked up or incarcerated at one time. They're giving them first dibs on getting their own store, or you know, because there's licenses to get that. So they're saying, hey, we're going to give them to these guys who were locked up because of this before we give it to somebody who's never been locked up. So I mean, that's good. You know, there's some good things happening out there on that scale. But
And the thing is, the only reason why it's illegal is just anything that the government can't make money off of. You know, they're going to make it illegal.
Yeah,
it's like
that's the problem.
opiates.
But they
Right, they can't
but
figure out how to monetize it, right?
No, man, because they make more money incarcerating people that sell it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, when you get a lot of free labor, you know, so it's hard to you know, all these petty crimes that, I mean, you know, that's a whole nother
I
thing.
realize that they hurt, in a way, they hurt the economy by locking people up for petty crimes like that.
But what type of people are getting locked up for these crimes, like weed? Us,
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Latinos.
Yeah, getting 10,
Yeah, that's
15
what I'm
years.
saying.
Yeah, you know,
But you
yeah,
can have
you
a
know,
whole, I don't know the measurements, maybe Pat can tell me what
yeah,
the
you know,
measurements.
so you can have a
whole,
gram.
there
so
you
can have a
go,
gram
of
of coke,
cocaine, and yes, there you
and
go.
then
You talking about me?
Like
You talking about me being a thug back in the day? Let's talk about back when.
I don't know these measurements.
Let me go get my triple beam scale in the back.
Oh man.
Knock the dust
The
off
smell,
of it. Nah.
hey man, the smell of crack, man. Oh my God, it smells.
How do you
know
crack
this?
smells like?
Anyway, that's an interesting story.
My
That's
treat.
formula.
Fat. My treat.
Oh my God, man, we gonna pray it. Remember my uncle, man. Nah, everybody call him out like that. Oh man, that was funny. Hey man. Oh my God. Yeah, man. Just another day in the old hood, boy. Yeah, man, that was funny.
This has been a great discussion, y'all. We had so much fun, talking about different relevant events. And we hope that we could do this more often. So if y'all have anything that y'all want to discuss or talk about on these days where we do have a chance to bring in our a guest host, co-host like Brad Usher here.
Brad, man, you welcome anytime, brother.
So we definitely got to schedule the flat Earth versus round Earth show. Spherical Earth.
I don't think you want to have that debate. You don't want to have that debate.
I'm having my popcorn.
I mean,
this would be the most nerdiest debate that you've ever
we
seen
need
ever.
models. I want the sphere. I'm gonna hang it up. I'm gonna hang it down. We're gonna spin it, and it's gonna be real up in here.
So you saying if the earth is round or spherical, this water here is gonna fall off? Show me where.
Hey, they're gonna use that tennis ball. I'm telling you, spin the tennis ball. Man, it's a bit, I'm telling you, man, they got so much stuff out there.
Look,
Spin that. They take the water. There's a video. There's a video with a man holding a ball and he's pouring water on it, and it's in slow mo, and he spins it. And they like, if the earth is a spinning ball, how is it that
the water stays on it?
Yeah, I'm telling you, using pseudoscience.
But
that's pseudoscience.
But water's not on Earth. It's not a solid object. I mean.
No, it's water wet. Hey, viewers, is water wet? Yes or no?
Oh, God, don't start.
So when you take a shower, how are you making soap if water ain't wet? Answer that for me.
But the new one is fire hot. That's the new one.
Oh,
it's only hot when it's touching something.
That's so
my goodness.
Oh, right. Okay, so what if I walk past it, but I feel it? Like when I turn on my fireplace, I'm like 5 feet from it, but I feel it. I can feel it though.
But it's touching you. The heat is touching you.
So
what makes it hot is because you can feel it.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna leave y'all with that one.
It's hot. And it's only wet because you can touch it.
If water ain't wet, how are y'all making soap? How y'all make dishwater? Answer that question for me.
They say water isn't wet, right?
Yeah, water is not wet.
They say
Okay,
water
so
isn't wet.
It's wet.
how y'all making soap? How
It's
y'all
only
wash our
wet
clothes then?
when you're touching.
Yeah, when
There you go.
When
How y'all
your
wash our
hand is
clothes
in there,
then?
it's wet, is what they're saying.
How are y'all washing y'all clothes then?
This kid, and I don't know what kind of drug he was on.
SLS,
But they
that's what makes
argued
it.
for 25 minutes. And the guy's argument, the kid's argument was, if I get in water, I'm not wet.
Hey, Robert said. Robert said, when is fire not touching anything, man? That's a good point, because in order to make fire, it has to be on something. No, see, man, that's
but
listen.
No, but see the fire.
That's that, man. You hitting that joint, thinking, okay.
That's all. That's
where these.
It's fire.
You know what?
Fire,
You're right. You're right. That's where the flat Earth. That's where the round Earth. That's where the fire's hot. The water's wet.
Exactly
That
what
came from
It's
weed
not
smokers.
touching anything.
Yes.
Like, man, was a good point.
Somebody says, how is the earth round if
the earth is
if
flat.
the sun is hot? Tell me this.
The sun and the moon is out at the same time.
Dude, hey, I got one for you. How y'all gonna make, if water ain't wet, how y'all gonna wash your clothes? Feel me?
Right, you feel me?
You know, how that dirt get off them clothes if water ain't wet?
Feel me?
And why you got to dry 'em? Why you got to get out the wash and put it in dry? If it ain't wet.
Ain't wet, right?
Look, the market said if a tree falls in a forest when you aren't around, does it make a sound?
The market is stupid. Hey, man, the market is wild,
Things that
man.
make you go,
Yes.
That man Happy funny, man.
He is, man. He be the
Shout
one
out
too,
to Happy.
Yeah, shout out to Happy, man. He be the one that always try to brighten the, like if it's even if it's a heated debate or something.
He come on there and say
He'll
joke.
come in and say something.
Yeah, man. He come and say something wild. Hey, man, anybody see that Laker game last night? Well, yeah. Huh?
Robert he's wild.
Poop pass, mother. Poop pass.
Wait a minute. Who's Sean Usher? Who's that?
That's my brother.
Oh man, he gave you a
Shout
whole. He
out
gave
to
you a
brother
whole.
Usher.
Shout out to Sean. He gave you a whole government name. He said, "Good
Yeah,
job,
Bradford
Christopher Usher."
I was like,
Man.
are you BCU?
Hey, that's
BCU.
BCU. Hey, I got a dope name. I don't care what nobody says.
Bradford
You
Christopher.
know what I'm saying?
Usher.
Bradford Christopher Usher.
Yeah, I like
Well, you
that.
fit right in with Pafford because
I was thinking
That
the same
name right
thing. I
there.
said
My name's
Pafford,
Patrick,
Rayford,
Bradford,
This
and
dude's name is
Bradford.
Ray.
Pafford Allen Williams.
Listen, this
That really does
actually.
click. That
There
is
you go.
Pafford Allen Williams.
no, his R&B name is Rayon.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
Oh yeah, it is.
Yeah, it is. It's Rayon, man, because it was like
I
Silk.
would say Asia would tell y'all something different.
No,
Who's
Silk.
Asia?
They know me by Ray E.
No,
Who is
Rayon.
Asia?
They
Talk
buy
about-
my songs the most.
Oh, an Asia.
Rayon.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Hey, listen, Rayon. Because
Rayon.
he said, well, you know, everybody wears silk, so I'm gonna be Rayon.
Oh,
I said, man, go somewhere with that, dog.
Well, I mean,
I was big go somewhere
I
with
would
that.
take
but
Rayon.
then you got
Rayon
sincere.
Hey, listen.
You know, you got
Would
sincere.
you rather your name be Rayon or Sincere?
If you're a basketball player, though,
Anybody.
because this is a basketball name, sincere.
No, it's not. It's a
Would,
nickname.
No.
would you
Didn't he say
associate?
basketball?
Rather your name be Rayon or Sincere,
Would
Brad.
you associate sincere
In any part of life,
with your being?
any
Sincere.
occupation,
Sincere.
Rayon or Sincere, which one would you pick?
Sincere's a cool name.
Thank you. Hey, thank you. Hey, listen,
Both
Nas.
of y'all got to go.
Hey, listen, Nas' name in Belly was Sincere.
Okay, yeah.
No,
that,
okay.
That was okay.
That's it. You don't know
But you said
nobody
it
named
was-
Rayon, but this
But
dude
you
right
said
here.
basketball.
I don't even know what rayon.
And rayon is
from.
the cheapest fabric that there is.
Yeah.
So you don't want. That's like
Hey,
polyester blend.
Yeah, I would never call myself that.
He called himself Rayon, man. Look, I ain't gonna
Rayon.
go back.
That's not a good name.
Now you heard Brad say, yes, she is. Yeah, man, you did. They call yourself Rayon. Jagged Edge. Edge. How
Ray E, y'all.
notice they didn't say jagged sphere, they said jagged edge. So maybe the earth is flat. Maybe they named it out of the flat earth. Edge.
Right.
Edge of earth.
Hey, I'm sure.
Closing remarks.
Hey, that's it. Yo, yeah.
Something cold.
Yeah, we out, man.
DeMarcus Abbey said rayon sounds like a lame ass. Thank you, DeMarcus.
Lame ass pair of
I would
glasses.
never name
He
myself
said
no
pair
damn
of glasses.
no
Pair
damn
of
rayon.
glasses. Too funny.
Ray E.
Yeah,
Better get it together.
yeah.
All right, y'all. Look, this has been a great discussion. We've been having
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah, man.
Appreciate y'all for
we are old and we gotta get to bed.
Appreciate y'all for finally having me on the show.
Yeah, man. Shout out, man, to Brad, man, for coming.
Yeah,
We appreciate
yeah.
you, dog.
I come back and get into some.
Look, I gotta bring the
Yeah.
spears.
get
the
into some of
flat-
that knowledge or something.
All
Yes.
day.
Yes.
Yeah, man.
And Brad, you're gonna be on this side with everything.
Without
I ain't gonna have nothing, but what I
Brad,
can't
you're
do.
bringing brain.
I'm just bringing my mind. That's
Oh,
it.
man,
I
that's-
got it all up here. I
Let's
don't,
go.
I don't need no memes.
Memes.
None of that.
You got the
you know what I'm
memes.
saying? Bait these flat earthers. You
Right.
know?
That's what's
Nah,
up, man.
I ain't got time.
Ebony, you wanna close us out?
Oh, what? Say everything?
Yeah, everything.
No, just do your part.
Oh, just
You see
oh,
how
what?
Ebony trying to take
No,
over?
you're.
Everything.
How
Just
did
say
he just
everything,
say-
man.
He said, "Ebony, you want to close this out?"
Yeah, hey, look, just say everything, sis. Just go ahead, man.
Everything.
Everything. Yeah, go ahead.
See?
Go
There
ahead.
it is. All right. Well, Bradford Christopher Usher.
Come on, man.
Thank you for coming on the show and joining in on this discussion.
Thank you for having me.
It was awesome having you as our guest co-host today. You are a first, so you were in the wall of
Yeah,
in
man.
the Hall of
Yeah,
Fame.
Yeah, you got to autograph
This is
something.
our
Oh,
first
yeah.
time doing a host only show.
Yeah,
so
man.
That's true.
yeah, this is our
Sounds
first
the very,
time.
very first one.
That's what's
Mhm.
up. That's what's up.
Yeah, so
Mine's
you
pretty dope.
helped to make this day special.
Yeah.
So we'll have some more.
I appreciate
And
it.
shout out to the viewers for being so engaging and just helping the show to be so organically
fruitful.
and so fruitful and engaging and everything, because it's not a one-sided conversation. This is a conversation amongst all of us.
Good dialogue.
So y'all keep the conversations going. So we appreciate y'all.
Follow my page. If y'all ain't following me yet. I'm gonna post some more videos.
What's the name of your page?
Bradford Usher Speaks. Like it, follow, check out some of my vids, some info. I'm gonna bring y'all more info from that page as well too.
Okay.
So just be on the lookout.
All right.
There you go. Nah, hey,
Willis,
listen,
what
hey,
you
man,
got to
bro, I
say?
gotta say, hey, man, thank you, man, for coming, brother. And I will say this: class of '99 used to put hands on class of '97. Weight room, locker room. Yeah, man, we gave it, man. Hey, look, we gave it to y'all for about a week straight until Big Gil popped out of nowhere. Shout out, man, to Gil, but Big Gil popped out of nowhere, man, and shut everything down. So you know that was over with. But man, Brad is a good dude, man. Glad you came, brother.
Don't believe Patrick.
And shout out to all the viewers, man. Thank you for the comments, man. Please share this on your page. And we appreciate everyone's support.
Absolutely. Again, Brad, thanks for coming through, man.
Hey, thanks for having me.
It's a pleasure having you here. And you know, so many different discussions. As Ebony said, this is our first time really having a show with us and a special co-host. You know, to have many discussions about many different things, and we plan on doing this a lot more. So, thanks to the viewers and people who share our feed. I just don't know how much that helps us. That y'all really love us and support us and share our feeds, because y'all don't have to, and y'all could be doing anything in the world. But
Y'all rocking with us.
Y'all rock with us,
Tuesday.
and we appreciate that.
Yes.
So
Appreciate y'all.
keep supporting us. Make sure y'all go check out some gray area apparel on the site, and you know, make sure y'all get those orders in. We have so many different styles, and you can even go and customize some of your own stuff there at the site. So you know, let us know if there's something there that you don't see that you would like, and we'll make it happen for you.
And share the page too, the Gray Area page on Facebook and YouTube.
Yeah.
YouTube.
Absolutely.
Share the YouTube link.
Absolutely. And we will see y'all again next week. Peace out.
Peace. Yeah, I'm gonna get you some shirts too.
Okay.
Large, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Appreciate it, guys.
Yeah, man. Appreciate you, brother.
Yep. I enjoy it.
I meant to get my remote out the car.
Ooh, it's my bedtime. Oh, I don't have
Hey,
to go
Mr.
nowhere no
Church
more.